It's day baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. Game 2 between the Cincinnati Reds and the St. Louis Cardinals, two rivals inside the National League Central Division. Cardinals are in first place. Hey, they're selling bobbleheads. They're selling the Pujols canvas print today. Jaime Garcia off to a great start. Over 40,000 expected. Mark McGwire's seen his offense come around. And Lohse will get the start this afternoon for the Redbirds. Welcome to Day Baseball with Al Rabowski, my partner. I'm Dan McLaughlin. We'll hear from Jim Hayes momentarily. And now the big question now going into Game 2, it's a quick turnaround. How do the players respond?
Well, it's just another game. Of course, it is a very short night. The Reds are anxious to get back out here because they stole the victory from the Cardinals, and the Cardinals felt like they let one slip away. But today is another day.
Well, we mentioned that Jim Hayes is with us. He's downstairs. Jim, what's the reaction to the players?
Well, players say it's always tough to sleep for a day game following a night game. They usually get 4 or 5 hours sleep. Jason Mott told me he's working on 2 hours sleep. The exception, Lohse. As today's starter, he got to leave last night early and watch the end of the game at home on Fox Sports Midwest. A look inside the swing of Colby Rasmus next on Fox Sports Midwest.
St. Louis, and let's hope the rain stays away. It's Game 2 between the Reds and the Cardinals. Mark McGwire, his rookie campaign as a hitting coach, second year following a rookie campaign for Colby Rasmus, and what a difference a year has made. We asked Mark about the keys to Colby's swing, and this will be our Toyota keys to the game.
Have a good game plan. When you go to the plate, have an idea what you're going to see and stick with that game plan. His leg kick is part of his timing mechanism, and as Mark always preaches to all hitters, go up the middle. It's so important. If the ball's inside, you can turn on it.
The sweet swing of Colby Rasmus as we head to break. And when we come back, we'll take a look at the pitching matchup here this afternoon. Homer Bailey, Lohse. Next on Fox Sports Midwest. right-handers this afternoon. It's the Reds and Cardinals in Game 2 of their 3-game series. Homer Bailey, 0-1, ERA that's over 7. Kyle Lohse, 0-1 as well. And both these guys out trying to figure out how to get that first win.
Now, they're both very talented. Homer Bailey is a youngster, not quite 24 yet. He's pitching much better. Late last season, he was really a force, ERA under 2 and 6-1. But he's struggling trying to find that first win. Same thing with Kyle Lohse. We've seen Kyle Lohse be a big game winner, and we'd like to see that return. Maybe he's not throwing as many sinkers. Maybe incorporating more sliders this year. But I think he's going to find it out and join the winning ranks.
So Homer Bailey, Kyle Lohse, starting lineups in our first pitch coming up next. Baseball at Busch, right around the corner. Is brought to you by Budweiser with full flavor and a crisp, clean finish. It's what we do. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. By Steak and Shake, life needs flavor. And by Chevy's expert auto service. See your Mid-America Chevy dealers or shop and compare at stlchevy.com. The Albert Pujols Canvas Print Day here at Busch Stadium. Over 42,000 expected this afternoon. As the Cardinals look to regroup, they're 15-8. Cincinnati in second place, and Dusty Baker's club is 12-11, following their win late last night, or early this morning, if you will. And let's take a look at the Cincinnati Reds lineup, led by former first-round pick Drew Stubbs, off to a slow start. Then Brandon Phillips, he's moved up to the second spot. Joey Votto, then Scott Rowland, the former Cardinal. Jay Bruce, Orlando Cabrera, Lance Nix, Ryan Hannigan, and Homer Bailey, the pitcher, batting ninth for the Reds. And on the mound for the Cardinals, still looking for that elusive first win, is our Marshall Wireless Sprint starter, and that's Kyle Lohse.
Well, Kyle Lohse has allowed righties and lefties both to hit 306 off of him. Not a lot of strikeouts, more walks than strikeouts, not something you look for. And let's see if he can keep the ball in the bottom of the strike zone and keep it out of the middle of the plate.
And what do you think Dave Duncan has seen with Kyle Lohse, Al, the last couple of starts with the changeup in his mechanics?
Well, I think it's, one thing is he's very close. He's not allowed a home run this year. He has walked more than he struck out. And remember, in his last start, he reverted back to his 2008 form, bringing the ball completely over his head. And he got away from that when he had the forearm injury a year ago, and he stayed with his motion that he completed last season with because it felt so good, but he wasn't getting good results. So let's see how it is tonight, and I assume he's going to, right back over his head.
And Stubbs on the first pitch out to center field. That'll stay in the ballpark. One pitch, one out, and Rasmus hauls it in.
It started yesterday. Stubbs hit one to center.
Let's take a look at the Cardinals defense with Holiday, Rasmus, and Ludwig. This is brought to you by Dobbs, Freese, Ryan, Schumacher, and Pujols along the infield. And the battery today, Kyle Lohse and Jason LaRue. Are you awake, Al? Are you ready to go?
Oh, yeah. No problem for me. Sleep's overrated.
Late night Long rain delay, and the Cardinals and Reds right back at it here in game 2. There's Brandon Phillips. He's hitting .236. A couple of home runs and 9 RBIs. And they have moved Phillips now to the second spot in this lineup, trying to jumpstart him a little bit. Remember the oddity that he is a guy that can hit for power and a second baseman. But now they've moved Roland into that cleanup spot. And here's a fly ball. Should be caught. Shallow left field. Matt Holliday calls off the shortstop, Brendan Ryan, and makes the catch. Good start here for Lohse.
You'd like to see the ground balls, but as long as they're not hitting them deep, you know, you'll take a fly ball out. But not a good idea when you want to be a ground ball pitcher.
Is it a byproduct, Al, of his sinker just not being as effective, or is he leaving pitches up, or a combination of the
I think
two?
it's a combination of both of them. I think he's kind of gotten away from the sinker a little bit, throwing a lot more off-speed pitches.
Here is Joey Votto hitting .275 with 4 home runs and 12 RBIs.
Votto had a big day yesterday, and he was hitting the ball to left field.
We're going inside on that pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You normally see Joey Votto, and he kind of got away. He got a couple years ago, he got home run happy, so he starts pulling the ball. But he's a much better hitter when he sprays the ball around.
And there's a rope into center field. Rasmus will get it. And Joey Votto has a 2-out base hit. Boy, he could flat out hit, can't he?
Yeah, he's an outstanding hitter. I was really confusing myself with Jay Bruce and not Votto. Votto was 0 for 1 last night, but Jay Bruce, who's on deck after Roland had the big night.
What the play that Roland made to end the game last night. Terrific play to his left.
And, you know, under a little bit of pressure because Albert was on deck. There have been 2 men on.
First pitch to Roland is a strike. So he's the cleanup man for the Reds. Hitting .257. 5 home runs, 10 RBIs. If you missed the pregame show, he was a guest of Jim Hayes. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, in the 3rd inning when Jim stops on in.
According to that interview, Scott may be texting him at that time.
How about that? Rain delay, texting back and forth.
Well, you know, they have a special relationship.
They sure do. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Roland. A long look.
I'm sure there are a lot of hugs that were not on camera.
Those two really did like to hug an awful lot.
They did, didn't they?
Every interview would end with a hug, whether it was in the pregame or the postgame. Fans would be going wild, and Jim would get Scott Roland for the postgame, and you'd see a big old hug.
So you can just imagine what happened during the game.
Here's a 1-1, and that misses low and away.
It was interesting. Scotty was also saying his first trip back here when he was traded from Toronto to the Reds. Came back here, he goes, well, I think I was here. I had a concussion at the time.
I don't quite remember.
They said I was here.
The 2-1 pitch. Bigger lead this time for Votto. Now he'll take a couple of steps back to first. And there's a base hit to left off the bat of Roland. Holliday backs up, and Votto, seeing that, heads to third, and the ball scoots away. And advancing to second, it's Scott Roland. It was almost like an infielder that was in between hops, and how Holliday played that out in left. He wasn't sure whether or not to come in or stay back. Well, remember, it is a slick surface out there.
Yeah,
with
it's
the
a
rain.
little wet, but the rule of thumb is that you come forward. Be aggressive, come forward. When you back up, that left the opening for Votto to take off and trying to get to third. It's a longer throw, and you see the throw gets by, and so there's the error that allows Roland to go from first to second.
And here's Jay Bruce, who's hitting .263.
Or they gave no error. Not sure about that one, but I just had a nice conversation with our officials today, so I won't say anything.
Was that your version of the conversation?
No, it was
a good give and take with Al.
No, just, you know, he's a nice guy.
There's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 on and 2 outs. Outfield is straight away for Jay Bruce. 4 home runs. He's driven in 11. Bruce has tremendous power. You have to be careful here. It looked like Lohse was going to sail through this first inning. He got the first two. Matter of fact, he got Stubbs on the first pitch of the game to fly out to center. Phillips to fly out to left, and then back-to-back singles from Votto and Rowland.
Last 17 games, Jay Bruce has hit .328.
The 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Remember when he first came up, Al, and the league obviously hadn't figured him out. He was seeing a lot of fastballs, and with that, he was crushing the baseball.
Right, and it seemed like, and then he got a few home runs. He's only 23, and he's already hit 47 career home runs. And he wanted to pull everything. And his average really suffered last year. Well, in last night's game, he hit like 3 base hits to left field.
2-2. Got him. Called third strike. Home plate umpire Paul Emmel. First strikeout for Lohse. And the Reds strand 2. Great shot here at Busch Stadium. Arch in the background. Sandwich, little lunchtime in a ball game here in St. Louis. Cardinals and the Reds, game 2. Overcast skies here in downtown St. Louis at Busch Stadium. And the Cardinals coming up in their half of the first. It'll be Schumacher, Ludwig, and Pujols. Then Holiday, Rasmus, Freese, LaRue, Lohse, and Brendan Ryan. Southwest Airlines lineup against Homer Bailey. Finished up last season. He looked tremendous and off to a little bit of a slow start. He's 0-1. You see the high ERA, and opponents hitting close to .330 against him.
And you talked about how he finished last year, 6-1. Had 2 blown saves by the bullpen, and he had an ERA of 1.70. So very talented. He won't be 24 until next week, but we really have not seen him pitch well. He did pitch pretty good his first outing against the Cardinals.
One of the things they talk about in his delivery is the extremely long stride that he has. And you can see the landing area of Cal Lohse to where his front foot is as opposed to where Homer Bailey is. And they say sometimes with that long stretch, if he doesn't get on top of the ball, a lot of those balls are up.
Yeah. You better have your timing better be there, because if it's not, you never get on a downward plane. And so that foot lands, your arm's dragging, and all of a sudden you just, you're throwing uphill. That was Homer Bailey's landing foot, and it looks like,
Lohse right to the right
behind him.
And Lohse works from that first base side, and Bailey more of the middle of the rubber. A ground ball out to the second baseman, Brandon Phillips. Schumacher retired. A defense of the Reds brought to you by Dobbs, Nix, Stubbs, and Bruce. Left to right of the infield, Roland Cabrera, Phillips, and Votto. And Homer Bailey and Ryan Hannigan, your battery today for the Cincinnati Reds. Here's Ludwig, who's hitting .291, 4 home runs, and 10 RBIs.
Did not start last night. He had his 5-game hitting streak snapped when he pinch hit late in the game.
Now, with the way things have turned around for Ludwig, and I say turn around, he got off to maybe a little bit of a slow start, first 7 to 10 days of this regular season. Then they moved him into the second spot. Do you see him staying here for a prolonged period of time, maybe even the entire year, hitting in front of Pujols?
Why trade or why work on something that you know it's working, so stick with it.
And the only reason I bring that up is that you have a veteran here in Ludwig, and sometimes with the younger guys or other players in the roster that Tony wants to jumpstart, he'll move them in front of Pujols, and it looks like Ludwig is back on track.
Well, I mean, to me, John Jay got the start last night, but in my mind, you do have you're 15-8. Got the best record in the National League, but Tony always talks about grinding it out, and grind it out with your best 9.
0-2 the count with 1 out and nobody on for the Cardinals here in their half of the first against Homer Bailey. Pujols on deck.
And further to that point, you're going to have to give some of these guys a little, a start here and there, the guys that are on the bench. But there is a significant drop-off between our regulars and the bench.
See where Bailey works more from the third base side of the rubber once he begins his delivery in that right foot. Touches the rubber, and that's drilled into left center field. It's well hit. Stubbs won't get it. One hops off the Budweiser sign. And it's a 1-out double for Ryan Ludwig.
Set up away. Let's see if that ball ends up going in the middle of the plate. Really not a bad pitch, but he's a low ball hitter. And got to remember what Mark McGwire preaches to all hitters is take the ball up the middle, so there's a good indication of that. A lot of base hits up there. If the ball's inside, you can turn on that. But if you're thinking up the middle or to the opposite field, you're going to get a lot of hits.
So here's Pujols, who was 2 for 3 last night. And you wonder if he'll get a pitch to hit with first base open, Holiday on deck. We still haven't seen, even going back to last year, the combination of Pujols and Holiday really turn it on for an extended period of time together.
No, I agree with that, and I think it will happen. Matt has had a tough time hitting at home, but he did get a couple hits last night. Knocked in 2 runs.
Long look by Homer Bailey. Now he's set. Ludwig, the runner at second base, and here comes a 1-0 pitch to Albert Pujols. We saw that in the series with Atlanta when Bobby Cox wasn't shy about not only intentionally walking Pujols, but anybody in that 4-game series. He had 8 intentional walks, as the outfield you see pictured there, very deep.
And now they're going to put Albert on. Yeah, 8 intentional walks, and Dusty employed that same strategy last night. He's doing it here today. In the Atlanta Braves series, that following hitter was, they were 4 out of those 8 times they got base hits.
That's right. On Albert Pujols' campus print day, they walk him.
It's a really nice item, too.
They can't do that on his print day, Al.
Sure they can.
You're upset about it. I watched you started throwing things over there.
Excuse me, I forgot. I'm very upset about that. But I'm not that upset because Matt's going to make them pay. There you go. There's that nice giveaway. Just hang that right on the wall. It's got a little plastic wrapper on there to keep it clean, but nice canvas print.
It's 14 walks now for Pujols. And of the 14, 8 have been intentional. And here's Holiday. Takes a ball. He had a base hit last night. RBIs. And he's 2 for 5 against this right-hander in his career. Good opportunity here in the first, and the Cardinals wasted opportunities late in the ball game last night.
Did they ever?
Well hit. Right center. Stubbs back. And he'll make the catch. Both Pujols and Ludwig back to the bag. And neither one tagged up.
Ludwig was more than halfway on that ball and didn't really read it very well.
Now, was that an instance where you think he should be at the bag to tag up there, or?
Well, I think you read the outfielder, and initially you're hoping it's going to get out, so you've got to go halfway. But you could see if you watch the center fielder that he was cruising, getting under control, and that ball was going to stay in the ballpark. Then you go back to the bag so you can tag up. He's almost on the warning track out in right center. He can't throw you out.
That's right. So here's Colby. Off to a great start, hitting .323 with 6 home runs and 12 RBIs. So this time last year, he hadn't hit his first home run in the big leagues, as we showed you in the open. To me, Al, and I talked to Colby an awful lot. I just see a guy that's just completely relaxed this year and mentally in a different place.
No doubt about it. I mean, he had a lot of things going on last season, both on and off the field, and now his life is settled. He knows what to expect here. He's very comfortable. He's happy. And now, now you're seeing his just great athleticism take over.
A level of acceptance here in the major leagues.
And that helps too. It really does. It's part of the growing up process at the minor leagues, but at times can take a lot of grief as a rookie.
A 2-0 pitch. And as we have seen, and you and I both know, he's not a guy of many words. He's a quiet kid, but tremendous talent.
Being quiet probably helps you more than anything. The rookie that gets in trouble is the one that thinks that the big league started when he got there.
Swinging away on 3-0. There's some confidence in Colby.
It's one of those situations where you like to think, managers today rarely want to take the bat out of a hitter's hand, and he's an RBI guy. But you ask him to say, okay, be disciplined enough to see a pitch that you can drive. If you get a pitch you can drive, then go ahead and swing at it. But if it's not, even if it's a strike, take it.
Well, check swing and a foul ball. He feels cheated. And Bailey's saying, well, that's strike 2. I love it.
Pitchers love that. Love that. Get that check swing, and especially if you really run one in on them and everything. They're almost like trying to get out of the way, and you hit the bat.
Runners off with this pitch with 2 outs. First and second, and a full count on Colby Rasmus. We're in the first here at Busch Stadium. The 3-2 pitch. There they go. Swung on and missed. So from 3-0 to a strikeout, Bailey out of the first inning jam. No score after 1. contest. Go to foxsportsmidwest.com to upload a photo of fans in Cardinals gear, and you can win a $50 gift card from Ted Drews. Use a phone camera or a fancy one. Enter now at foxsportsmidwest.com. Second inning rolls in here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The Reds wasted a couple of base hits by Votto and Rolen. They had second and third with 2 outs, and Kyle Lohse got a called third strike on Jay Bruce to end the top half. And the Cardinals stranded 2 of their own in the bottom half. And here's Orlando Cabrera. He was 1 for 4 last night. First pitch is a strike.
Cabrera leads the team with 13 RBIs. But now for the 5th straight game, they've moved him to this spot in the order, an RBI spot, and he has no RBIs batting 6th.
Baseball's a funny game,
oh,
isn't
yeah.
it?
So I always find it so intriguing why some guys just can't hit in certain spots of the order.
Which then brings up the point of Tony La Russa and all the different various combinations of lineups that he uses. You know, some guys, they don't care. Other guys are saying, well, I'd rather be in that set spot in the lineup.
What it is to me, and there's a good pitch right there, called strike, 2 in a row. A built-in excuse.
I think you're right. And this is a called third strike in our Southwest Airlines Fox tracks.
Perfect. Perfect. I have a big strike zone. Hey, you know, hitters can adjust if there's a big strike zone. But it's called move the game along. Let's have a little fun.
Here's Lance Nix.
Nope. Cardinals have already proved in the game last night, in the 20-inning game, they don't do well in 5-hour-plus games. So move it along.
Good pitch. And quickly 2 strikes. Now, Tony La Russa has served on a board and still is continuing to do so, even though the season has gotten going here. Front office personnel, even some players with Bud Selig about improving the game. What can we do to try to improve the game? And one of the things that was brought up was the speed of the game times. There's a called third strike on the inside corner. That's 3 in a row for Kyle Lohse. For every Cardinals win during this homestand against the Braves and Reds, you can take $5 off Lowe's box seats for the Nationals and Marlins series mid-May, May 17th to the 20th. And this could lead to a discount as high as $30, meaning $5 tickets. So stay tuned and save.
Speed up the game. Simplest way is call more strikes.
What about all the players that step out? And,
well,
that's something else too.
When I got into the league, there was a rule in the National League. Once you stepped in the batter's box, you could not step out of the batter's box without asking permission from the umpire. Just a little move like that. I mean, they would tolerate it, but you had to stay in the batter's box. Remember Mike Hargrove, the human rain delay?
That's right.
But he always, he would keep 1 foot in the batter's box to comply with the rule. And then he'd fidget with his gloves and do this and do that. But somebody said, well, I got to refocus after every pitch. Stand there. Take your 3, sit down.
That's your perspective of taking your 3. 1-2 the count, and Kyle Lohse is a strike away from striking out the side.
Now, he isn't by any means a serious violator, but some guys, take so much time. And they won't let a pitcher, Lohse stand there on the mound ready to pitch, but they won't let you quick pitch.
1-2 the count on Ryan Hannigan. Popped up. Is it playable? Over to get it. Pujols, he'll make the catch. Little basket catch for Albert as he steps in the dugout. 1-2-3 go the Reds in the top of the second. is the biggest surprise of April. Jaime Garcia, the bullpen, David Freese, or Colby Rasmus. Text A, B, C, or D to 432-432. I've got an answer.
I got an answer, too.
I'm going to go with A.
I would, too. Jaime Garcia.
Not to say that we expected bad things, but
no,
I didn't expect a 1.04 ERA.
Well, going into spring training, we expected him to be on the team.
That's the other point.
I knew Colby was going to be a second-year player, knew that he was counted on heavily to be the everyday center fielder. Same thing with Freese. The bullpen, you knew, anchored by Franklin. He was an all-star last year. Going in before spring training, you assumed that he would be fine. But Jaime, and I think he's legit, too.
I'm not sure we've seen him at his best yet either.
We keep on saying that. He's been pretty darn good.
I'm just taking the words of the guys down there that I talked to. And Dave Duncan was saying first few starts he didn't even have his best stuff, nor all 4 of his pitches.
No, I mean, the games that we have seen him, he has not had all of his pitches in one particular outing. But because he has so many weapons, he doesn't have his curveball. He's got a slider. Last time out, his fastball was exceptional, and that really late movement. He's got a good changeup.
2-1 pitch lifted into deep right field, and going back to make the catch, Jay Bruce. David Freese retired. There's Jaime Garcia next to Wainwright.
The best thing about it is he doesn't even know what's happening. He hasn't changed one bit.
Ryan Ludwig was talking about that the other day, the Cardinal outfielder, how Garcia, he says not only does he handle himself on the field, but the way he acts off the field. It's a guy with a big league attitude, meaning that in a good way.
Yeah. But, Dan, this one thing you got to learn is if you're going to be a very confident athlete out there, you got to carry yourself, off the field too. And I would commend him because I've watched him before the game, really handling some young fans and greeting some people down on the field and everything. And he knew what his responsibilities are of being fan friendly.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on for Jason LaRue. Short stint on the disabled list.
And he's 2 for 2 off of Homer Bailey.
Third season as the team's backup. The former Cincinnati Red everyday catcher had the bone bruise to his pinky finger. Collision at the plate in the late spring training. At 36, he is the club's oldest position player. Ryan Franklin is the oldest player overall at 37. Hits a ground ball to short. Handled easily by Cabrera, 2 outs.
Homer Bailey, not a good name for a pitcher.
Homer.
And probably our good buddy Bob Walk is another terrible name if you're going to be a pitcher. Bob Walk.
Doesn't get much worse than Bob Walk.
Of course, I saw Bob Walk one time go to the plate. We've seen guys go to the plate and forget their helmet, but he went to the plate and forgot his bat.
And you're serious?
And I'm serious.
I'm assuming he went and got a bat.
Well, I think the umpire reminded him. I'm not saying he knew much what to do with it, but it does help.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to the 8th place hitter, Kyle Lohse. Little broken bat, floater, base hit. The Cardinals have their second base hit. So 2-out base hit, and it brings in Brendan Ryan. Brendan is the 9th place hitter. As far as non-pitchers are concerned in the Tony La Russa era, he's had the most at-bats of position players in this spot in the lineup, 9th.
He was 2 for 4 last night, so let's hope he can get over the Mendoza line and take off from there.
I remember talking to Aaron Miles about from the first time he found his name in the lineup, that was 9th, and he said, I didn't think twice about it. I didn't take it as a shot to my ego. He said, if anything, I said to myself, well, be that secondary leadoff man that Tony talks about.
And that's how what you do. You know, you make it into a positive. Hey, they think I'm good enough to be in that spot to ignite the next rally.
2 outs and a runner at first. You know, Brendan did hit spring. It was a short spring because of the injury and the surgery on his wrist that he was coming back from. And he's gotten off to a slow start this year, hitting just 179. Base hit to left.
No, it's very fair to say that. You know, he had very little spring training. But, you know, really the hitting is so much between the ears. Ball kind of on the inside part of the plate. He just turns on it, shoots it, hits it hard, better balance, hits it hard, and gets rewarded. His 3rd hit in this series. Yeah, remember how a couple years ago Schumacher was hitting under 200 against left-handed pitching, but yet he was one of the, I think he was 2nd in the National League with the highest batting average against right-handers. Right now he's batting .455 against left-handers, and you can see the 209 average overall, so he's just struggling against righties.
And a ground ball slowly hit to first, taken by Votto, and the Cardinals have stranded 4 in the first 2 innings. No score here at Busch Stadium.
Changed my delivery back kind of to what I was doing at the beginning of last year. You know, I got away from that because the forearm injury stuff, and I was having a hard time repeating my delivery, so I tried to make it shorter, a shorter arc for my arm to have to go through, and it was working for a while, and you know, everything feels healthy, so I figured I might as well try something, go back to, you know, what I was doing before.
So that's Kyle Lohse on the changes in his delivery. Now maybe you can expand on that and what exactly he's talking about.
Watch where he has his hands right now. They're at the waist. Now he brings it all the way back up over his head. When he had the forearm injury, to shorten up his motion, instead of down at the waist, he'd bring it up to the letters, you know, the birds on the bat. Tried to shorten it up. He liked it that way. It felt really much more comfortable, but he wasn't making the same type of pitches or getting the same location, so he reverted back the last 2 innings of his last start.
He said he wasn't finishing the pitches the way that he normally does,
which might explain why pitches were up. You know, he talked about, for lack of a better term, short arming it a bit and not finishing off his pitches and getting on top of the ball.
And you know, everything you're doing initially, all that is counterproductive. You're going backwards. but it is part of the rhythm to go forward.
By the way, that was the voice of Jim Hayes, who has joined us. Follow the Cardinals on your iPhone, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, and Android phone with MLB.com at Bat 2010, featuring play-by-play, video highlights, and live audio broadcasts. For more information, visit Cardinals.com today.
Jim, I got to ask you a question because I've heard a lot of the Cardinal players talking about Joshua. What is this? What is Joshua?
Oh, that's a piece of music.
Yeah, but what is it?
It's a piece of music that is played during one of the segments on a radio show here in St. Louis that Colby agreed to use as his intro music last night.
By the way, Bailey 4 of 10, first pitch strikes. Kyle Lohse 8 of 10. This is Drew Stubbs. He flied to center.
Now you have the answer, Al. Well, you know, it's interesting, Dan, with Kyle Lohse. You can seem healthy. You can get past your injuries, and sometimes you don't even realize it, that there are some lingering bad habits. I think Lohse is a case in point. We'll see if this is a thing that can get him back on track this season.
Well, he looks sharp so far. That's hit to Rasmus, who makes the catch. Ooh, that almost snuck over him.
Well, that's the toughest play for a center fielder. The line drive right at you. If you're left or right, you can see the altitude of it. You know whether it's going to take off. But when it's coming right at you, sometimes you don't know. So you watch Kobe. It's coming right at him. He kind of holds his ground. Then he takes a step or two. Then he realizes this ball is really taking off. But he's able to jump up and haul it in. That's pretty acrobatic with the glasses, wasn't it?
Sure was. And here's Brandon Phillips with Votto on deck and 2 outs. Another first pitch strike. Boy, that's so important, isn't it, Al? Kyle Lohse, all these first pitch strikes early on.
Well, it is. And you know, it just, especially for a guy who's been struggling a little bit, if you can get those quick outs, then you kind of, you know, it just propels you.
It really sets up everything else, too.
Sure. You know, he's already struck out 4. He's in real good command. You know, he struggled a little bit in the first inning. Gave up a couple base hits, but he's attacking the strike zone.
Phillips flied to left first time up. The 1-1 pitch drilled off the glove of David Freese and into left field. So it's a 2-out base hit. Jim, you had a chance to visit with Scott Rowland before the game, and interesting conversation that you had, and I know he was, you know, a little bit curious about his reception of what it might be like to be playing in a game here at Busch Stadium. He was here last year. Remember, he went into Tony's office. Those two shook hands and talked things out a little bit. But when you and Scott get together, it's always a curious visit. And I think it was curious to see and hear what you guys had to say today.
We're talking about the hugs.
There was a hug off camera prior to the interview. You better believe that. I found it interesting. When he was here last year, he was dealing with the concussion stuff. That's why he didn't play. And he said, yeah, I don't even remember being here. He was in a bad way, and he was a little concerned because he said he's not a guy, he likes to get past whatever's out there. He used the word obstacle or hurdle that first game as a player back in St. Louis.
So did he mean to go in Tony's office?
No, he did mean to do that.
Oh,
that part he remembered. That part he did remember. And he's glad that's behind him because to him, I would assume that's a bit of a hurdle. He cleared that one.
Absolutely.
But the reception was nice, and he said now it's just a regular game back in a city where he has a lot of love for.
And the count goes to 1-1 strike on Votto. Remember, he has told us that growing up in Jasper, Indiana, he had 2 teams that he would follow, the Reds and the Cardinals, because those were the 2 closest in proximity where he could go and make a trip and watch a ball game.
Remember, we all thought that you know, he may really want to go to Chicago, and then we found he hates day games after a night game. He must love today.
It's a short turnaround today. Guys in Chicago will tell you have to treat it like a normal 9-to-5 job.
Oh, it is. I mean, you go to work in the rush hour traffic in the morning, and you come home in the middle of it, too.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Votto. Looks at a strike, 1-2.
And the guys that don't get killed by rush street.
It's taken down many a broadcaster and a player.
I wouldn't know about the broadcaster, but I've heard about the player.
What's this rush street you guys are talking about?
Come on, Jim.
Jason Mott told me he can never sleep the morning of a day game. It doesn't matter if it's a day game than a day
that's
game.
Because
he
you go to
can't
sleep at night.
Well, you said he had, what, 2 hours sleep?
2 hours sleep. He said it could be back-to-back day games, and he's not going to sleep overnight before a day game.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Instead of check on the runner over at first.
Now, Kyle Lohse got to split a little early last night because he's today's starter. He told me he watched the game on Fox Sports Midwest, even a little bit of Pat Paris in the post-game show. How about that?
Brandon Phillips was talking to the first base umpire, saying that he thought it was a balk by Lohse. Here's a 1-2 pitch. He's running, and the pitch is hit to second. Nice hand shown by Schumacher. A tough play. The Reds have stranded 3. Big bats coming up. Ludwig, Pujols, and Holiday. The first inning. Let's check out the crowd with the first inning fan cam and see who's enjoying the game. Budweiser, it's what we do. Bottom of the third rolls in here in St. Louis. There's no score. 3 hits aside, and here's Ludwig, who doubled back in the first. Ludwig, Pujols, Holiday for the Cardinals. Ludwig's average up to .299 with that double. First pitch by Bailey is taken low. Along with Arabaski and Jim Hayes, Dan McLaughlin here. And a 1-0 pitch to Ludwig. Taken for a strike. Where will the Reds be before it's all said and done? They're 12-11, but this is a really young team, young pitching staff.
And the pitching staff should only get better.
And Chapman is on the horizon. Aroldis Chapman, the Cuban defector, is in the minor leagues. They say he strikes out a bunch, but he's had a little bit more inconsistency with the strike zone in the minor leagues than he had, prior to signing with Cincinnati.
Sometimes that happens. Dusty told me he's just he's got a lot of physical attributes that make him a great pitcher. His arms are extremely long. His fingers are huge. There's a grip of baseball. You've got that whip action. And it's only a matter of time he's here, and then get Volquez back. He should be back around July, if not sooner.
The Reds really feel like they have the pieces in place now. A little time to mature, and they feel like they have something.
Well, a lot of people think they're going to be a sleeper in this Central Division, and a lot of it depends on their pitching.
It's a arrow tattoo.
So you got a bow on the other arm?
Get the other camera.
Here's a 2-2 pitch to Ludwig.
There you go, directing now.
And a line out to Scott Rowland.
So there's no bow on the other arm.
No bow on the other arm.
And here's Pujols.
Dan, I know Jim has a lot of tattoos. How about you?
I'm tattoo free, Al. You?
Also? Where are all yours?
Right up here on the shoulder, I got a little I Heart Al.
A strike to Albert Pujols. Pujols intentionally walked his first time up.
I have no tattoos, Al.
Your son?
Not yet.
It's off the end of the bat and rolls foul. 2 strikes, 0-2 with 1 out. Big crowd on Albert Pujols' canvas print day here at the ballpark, and it's his bat day tomorrow.
Yeah, Rawlings replica of Albert's bat. That should be a huge draw.
And those prints are nice. They gave away 25,000 of them?
25,000. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss and a strikeout of Pujols.
Breaking ball down the way, and Homer Bailey is so relieved to get rid of Albert.
Here is Holiday, who fly to center with 2 runners on. He's deep right center field, first time up. We talked about that late kick of Colby Rasmus. It's also a timing mechanism for this hitter, Matt Holliday. That front leg will pick up and then he'll let it rip.
Colby actually said one of the guys he got a lot of feedback that helped last year was from Holliday because of their similar approaches at the plate.
That's right. Wouldn't you see that, though, Al, as a pitcher and say maybe I can get him to commit with that high leg kick? We'll talk about it when we come back. It's popped up near the line, and the catch made by Phillips. The Cardinals go in order. We head to the 4th. No score. And the first pitch to Scott Rowland to start the 4th is a strike. And it looks like today Kyle Lohse has settled in. He's got 4 strikeouts. He's allowed just 3 hits. And Al, this is as sharp as we've seen him look in quite some time.
Absolutely. And you know, when you go back his first year with the Cardinals, 08, he had that career year. This is kind of what he looked like every time out. Take the ball over his head, but he got good results, good location. The sharpness of that breaking ball now. He spotted the ball in and out. He's changing speeds. Even though he's given up a few fly balls, you know, they're really, everything stayed in the ballpark.
Here's a 2-1 pitch to Scott Rowland. Taken a little bit high. So many different ways to hit the baseball, from the high leg kicks of Colby Rasmus and Matt Holliday to the wide base of a Scott Rowland. And Rowland will fly out to center. Colby under it with the shades on. Puts it away for the first out. Let's take a look at the front legs and feet of both Holliday and Scott Rowland on their swings. Here's Holliday with that high leg kick.
Put that leg up, and you know, it's kind of keep your weight back, but you got to put it down before you can do it. Now here's Scott Rowland, where he just lifts that toe and just puts it, 6 inches out in front. Remember Jim Edmonds, how wide he would stand, and just he'd pivot on that front toe and just never really move it. But you were talking about how as a pitcher you can counteract that. You ever heard of the double pump? Like when Kyle Lohse comes to his windup and brings the ball over his head. What if he did it twice to a guy that lifts that leg up? We'd have him totally messed up because he wouldn't be able to balance that long.
Take it a step further. What if he paused at the top?
Well, that's the same thing.
Right.
But I mean, if you pause, you're going to get them because, they're all of a sudden they're balancing, they're going to start wobbling. Or, as I say, you come up like this and then do it again. Then they're sitting there like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Bruce. Popped up left side. Could be a play. Over is Molina, or rather LaRue, excuse me. And he'll make the catch, and that knocks off the glove of David Freese. And Freese says he's all right.
It's a much easier play for David Freese, but a tremendous play for LaRue. As he comes over here, no one really calling, and good thing that neither one of them got hurt.
It's the Exmo Cam presented by Plaza Tire Service.
A little whiplash to the neck or hyperextend an elbow or shoulder.
And both guys are just fine, they say. So 2 outs, and it brings in Cabrera. Well, that's a heck of a play by Jason LaRue. There's a line drive into center field. Hanging breaking ball to Orlando Cabrera.
Good point.
2-out base hit.
Exactly what it was. Trying to get ahead with that breaking ball, but it had a little too much of a hump in it.
And it brings in Lance Nix. Nix absolutely tortured the Cardinals in the first half of last year.
Remember here, I don't know if it was at least one home run was just a vicious line drive that got out of here so quickly. But he had more success than just that.
Walt Jocketty has talked about changing the culture of the Cincinnati Reds. And Sunday, May 2nd, that's tomorrow, Cardinals and Reds. And that'll be the Rawlings baseball bat designed to look just like Albert Pujols. So the Rawlings Pujols bat day is tomorrow. Back in the late 90s, they thought they had a pretty good team, and then they went out and got Ken Griffey Jr. It just didn't work out, did it?
No, and,
injuries.
Well, Griffey's, all of his injuries were more from playing hard and all legit, but sometimes you think you're closer than you really are. And you'll go out and make a deal or two, and what you think will get you over the hump, and it actually sets you back. But I think one of the things the Reds got to do is they have all the nucleus here, and they're now they've got to really learn how to win. And this year they've really been tremendous in coming from behind.
A 2-1 pitch, grounder that's pulled foul. Just look at the left side of their infield this year as compared to this time last year. You've got Scott rolling over there, a veteran that's won a World Series. Cabrera has been part. You see him right there at first base for Dusty Baker, but he's been a part of a bunch of teams that have gone into postseason play. That makes a difference inside that clubhouse.
Well, they also have 10 gold gloves in that infield.
That helps too.
So having winning players, have guys that have had a little postseason experience, guide some of the younger players.
Two and two the count with 2 outs and a runner at first for Lance Nix. We're scoreless here in the Reds' half of the fourth. Long look by Lohse. And a fly ball lifted to left. Holiday will back up in front of the track to make the catch. Colby Rasmus leads it off when we come back. Midway through 4, there's no score. Now for the Fox Sports Midwest Coleman Race for the Cure team. Blues players and our buddy John Kelly will join team members at Scott Trade Center for pre-race festivities on Saturday, June 12th. For information and to join the St. Louis Blues and Fox Sports Midwest team, go to foxsportsmidwest.com. 7 hits total in this game. 4 for the Reds, 3 for the Cardinals. And Colby Rasmus leads it off. Colby was ahead in the count. 3 balls and no strikes his first time up. Swung at a 3-0 pitch and then eventually struck out. A backdoor breaking ball for strike 1. The lights are on here at Busch Stadium. A little bit after 1 o'clock here in Mid-America. And an 0-1 pitch. Ground ball right side. Bailey covering first, 1 away. Cardinals Ticket Fest is back at McDonald's. Stop in and order a select extra value meal and receive huge discounts on Cardinals tickets. $1 Big Mac Land tickets and $5 tickets, just to name a few. Cardinals Ticket Fest at McDonald's while supplies last. Along with Al Rabosky, I'm Dan McLaughlin and our Fox Sports Midwest crew.
Remember you talking about Mark McGuire, and he's talking about he tells everybody hit the ball up the middle. Well, David Freese really, the last few games, got that 3-run home run right off the foul pole in right field, but a lot of balls he's driving to right field. And, you know, I think that is something Mark will really commend him. He noticed right away he has tremendous power to the opposite field. As long as you can stay on a ball. Now, you know, if they pitch you inside, you can turn on that one, but for the most part, take it the middle to the opposite field.
2-0.
Boy, has Mark exceeded everyone's expectations, just even the way he deals with us. just been so open and so accommodating, and he's kept things very positive with his young hitters.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. This is well hit. Into right field. At the track. At the wall. Off the top of the wall, and it's a home run. David Freese. His second home run. And it's 1-0 Cardinals. And there he goes again to right field. 1-0 St. Louis.
Right now, his stroke, that's his power zone out there. So staying longer on a ball, he can drive it out there. He's doing himself more of a favor than rolling over. Ball's up and away. He's got the power to hit it out. And we said, earlier this week, everybody was saying, when's he going to hit his first home run? Well, he did. He did on Thursday and set a rookie record with 6 RBIs, and now they'll start coming a little more frequently.
Swing and a miss by LaRue. How good will that trade look when it's all said and done? The trade of Edmonds to get a David Freese player at that time. People were just thinking, well, is this just a throw-in? What's the deal with this?
Well, I honestly kind of felt that way too, because it's kind of like at that time he was just an A-ball player. Said, well, he's a St. Louis kid, maybe get him over here. But that's not the case. He's legitimate. He went to AAA that first year and hit very well there at AAA. He bypassed AA, and it was going to be a tremendous trade no matter what, because Edmonds went there and was sent packing within a month and a half.
And now you're getting yourself an everyday corner position, relatively in baseball terms cheap, and he's only 27.
He just turned 27 this week.
That doesn't happen. I mean, that turns out to be an outstanding deal.
And if you think about it, they had Kuzminov. They had a couple. He was down on their depth charts, so they felt that third base they could make that deal or get rid of him to the Cardinals' benefit.
So the Cardinals lead it 1-0. Here's LaRue, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And LaRue hits it in the air to shallow right center. Jay Bruce over inside the arch, the cutout in the grass, and makes the play. 2 outs. Second home run for David Freese on the year, second this homestand. This date in history, 1993. Tom Pagnazzi goes 3 for 4 with a home run and 3 RBIs, and helping the Cardinals beat Atlanta 10-3. That's the former Cardinal great Tom Pagnazzi, who was here on Friday night.
Probably the greatest player not in the Hall of Fame, at least according to our truck. I gotta say, in 119 years of Cardinal baseball, just wonder if that was the biggest event that's ever happened on this date. It's official. They told us that was the biggest event.
With all the great history that we've ever had.
And here was last night.
Kenny Reeds to his son on the right. There's Pags on the left.
Still got the heat.
Kenny was telling me about that a couple of days ago before his first pitch. He was so excited to throw it out. And he said, Dan, the best part, he said, I've done a lot of neat things in my career, but this is going to be one of the neatest nights for me in St. Louis, throwing the first pitch out to my son. And, of course, Kenny living here in St. Louis. And Kenny is coaching amateur players that include Andy Bennis' son, Todd Worrell's kid. One of your favorite teammates, Kenny Reeds.
Oh, yeah.
2-2 pitch to Lohse, who singled his first time up, and he's 2 for 2. 2 singles to center field.
Now Brendan Ryan saying, oh, now I know why they put him ahead of me. But Brendan's 1 for 1. Let's see if he can't duplicate the great hitter, Kyle Lohse.
It's gotten a little bit dark here at the ballpark.
Well, there's more weather, but it should be more severe later on tonight.
Single back in the second between Third baseman Scott Rowland and the shortstop Cabrera. 2 outs and a runner at first. Outfield is straight away for the Cardinals shortstop, the 9th place hitter, Brendan Ryan. Off speed pitch taken low and away. The 1-0 pitch to the Cardinals shortstop. The inside corner for a strike. 2 for 4 last night. His 3rd multi-hit game this season.
One of the better games we've seen Homer Bailey pitch against the Cardinals. I think his last time out late last season he pitched a pretty good game. Almost looked like he really slows up his motion on his breaking ball. That
he really was deliberate on that last
very
pitch.
deliberate on the last one, and I've noticed it on a couple other ones where almost telegraphing it. They want the slider. They're going to throw a fastball away.
Shoots it foul. 1-2 the count. Our next telecast on Fox Sports Midwest will be Monday night against the Phillies.
Fastball in.
And a strikeout of Brendan Ryan. Hit his spot. Ryan knew it. Freese's home run measured at 365 feet. His 2nd on the homestand, 2nd of the year. And it's 1-0 Cardinals. Having some fun in that dugout. And we take a look at today's AT&T trivia question. In what decade did the Cardinals have the highest winning percentage? And it was the 1940s, and 2nd on that list, the 2000s at 564. Well, the Phillies are trying to become the 3rd team, or rather the 3rd straight year, and the 1st team since the 1940 Cardinals teams to win back-to-back-to-back National League pennants. And we'll see them on Monday night. Jaime Garcia will get that start.
Far extreme side of the first base side of the rubber he's pitching, just barely making contact.
And a ground ball that's off the glove of Lohse. Hannigan hustling but retired. Good play. Hey, Cardinal fans, this season it's easier than ever to find the seats you want or sell tickets on the games that you can't make. It's StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals. And you'll find great seats and great service on StubHub all season. Go to StubHub.com and choose your seats today.
Just barely making contact with the rubber.
And here is Homer Bailey.
His momentum just barely pulls him over towards the first base side, but the ball coming right back at him. And kind of reaches across, knocked it down, and then scrambled, picked it up, and made the play.
0-2 the count on a check swing. Jim Leyland plans to keep smoking, but he can't do it in the dugout anymore. The rule and a law in effect in Michigan came in effect at 6 a.m. this morning, bans anybody from smoking at their workplace.
Well,
poor Jim Leyland.
Let me tell you something.
He'll find a way.
Well, he's going to continue no matter what you say. But unless they go find him inside the dugout down towards the tunnel, they may not be able to catch him. I bet those cameras will sometime.
Apparently, he was not smoking when he met with reporters before today's game against the Angels. Remember when he was at with Pittsburgh and he'd duck away and you'd see him trying to hide the cigarette up the hallway?
Hey, we had an umpire, Billy Williams, in the National League. And when he worked on the bases, and being in St. Louis, he'd come into the home dugout to sneak a smoke
between innings.
And he hated it when he was the home plate umpire because he couldn't really do that.
1-2 the count on Drew Stubbs, top of the lineup for the Cincinnati Reds.
And kids, do not start smoking. Do not use any kind of tobacco products.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. And he got him. Strikeout to Stubbs. And he's over 3. 6 strikeouts through 5 innings for Kyle Lohse. Let's go pitch by pitch, presented by Chevrolet.
Well, look at how many times he struck out 6 for Lohse, but 4 of them have been looking as he's fooled these hitters. They're all in agreement. Yep, that was a strike. They've given up on that inside pitch. It tails back. Good breaking ball here, right to the corner. And Lohse with his 6 strikeouts. He only had 7 strikeouts coming into today's action in 22 innings, and now in 5 innings he struck out 6.
Top of the lineup for the Cardinals.
By far his best outing of the year. Just keep it going.
Just looks a lot more comfortable, more smooth out there.
I mean, he just looks confident.
There's that deliberate breaking ball in the motion by Homer Bailey. for strike one on Skip.
If you can throw that get-ahead breaking ball, you're going to freeze a lot of hitters because they're geared for the first pitch fastball. And you don't go up there looking for that unless it's a hanger. You can adjust to it. And, you know, if a hitter goes up there looking for first pitch, get-ahead breaking ball, he's going to get himself out more times than not. But you're going to go up there looking for, you know, a zone or a certain pitch, primarily the fastball. It's that breaking ball, just take it.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. 2-1. Cubs and Diamondbacks tied up at 2-2. That's in the top of the fifth. Cubs start play today, 4.5 games out and 11-13. This is low and outside, 3-1. Schumacher today has grounded out to second and also grounded out to first.
And we snap back at that ball as he's walked one today. That was an intentional pass in the first inning to Albert, but don't want to walk the leadoff man.
He did. It's a second walk. We take a look at the staffs, and both have been pretty solid this year. Mike Leake made the jump from college, Arizona State, right to the big leagues. Arroyo, Cueto, and Harang. Homer Bailey, though, winless, along with Lohse. Wainwright already 4 wins. Carp with 3, Penny with 3, and Garcia with 2. The pressure to try to catch up with those guys.
And you know that we talk about the friendly competition where you don't feel like you're a part of the group until you get into the win column.
Ludwig has lined out to third. That was his last time up in the third, and also doubled first time up. See if the Cardinals want to get something going here. They've out hit the Reds 5-4. Bailey's had an even 70 pitches. His fastball has been topping out around 95. A couple times he's hit 96.
And again, a pretty good thrower. Thinking maybe something might be on.
Outfield is straight away for Ludwig. Let's take it for a ball outside.
And Bailey called his catcher out. He falls behind the count to Ludwig.
A note here, a gentleman that doesn't miss any of our telecasts. His name is, he goes by Big Dog, and it says if you guys can show the arrow a little bit more on where the outfielders are, I'd appreciate it. So we'll try to accommodate him.
I've gotten letters from Big Dog, and he's something about this shot. He's just infatuated with the high, what do they call it? High home camera?
High home camera.
Yeah, he's infatuated with that. But I didn't know he liked arrows. So he must love Homer Bailey's left arm.
Good point. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Pujols on deck.
Just for Big Dog. But that's to tell him where home plate is. The problem is most of the time it's pointing it to the rubber.
The 2-1. Ludwig rips it foul. 2-2. .378 hitter here at Busch Stadium is Ludwig. Here comes a 2-2. Ludwig base hit out to left. Will it carry there? No. Diving catch by Lance Nix.
Well, that ball just hung up, didn't it?
Sure did.
Looked like it was going to get down, but Nix comes in, and not sure he even had to dive, but the ball just kept on carrying out there. It always looks better.
Now it's Pujols with a runner at first. Pujols was intentionally walked in the first inning. Then he struck out in the third. Runner at first. It's interesting how teams will take a look at how they want to defend Albert Pujols. We showed the Braves shaded him to the opposite field, and in this case, Stubbs, the center fielder, plays in the pull a little bit.
You've got to remember that the Atlanta Braves, and McGuire was making this point with me, we knew when they had the big three, they always worked the outside part of the plate. But Mac was saying ever since he came to the National League, Braves pitchers predominantly work away. So that's why they had their defense that way. Watch Homer Bailey here. It was a previous pitch. Watch the right knee. Oh, that's a balk. And they got away with it. That knee, you move it like that, it's starting your windup. But no one called it. Nice going truck.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Albert Pujols. Good rip.
Albert can get on top of most high deliveries, but that's a pitch there that most normal hitters, and Albert's the opposite of that. You know, you want to pitch up there because it's around eye level. Hitters see it, they want to swing at it, but they mostly pop it up or swing through it.
On a tear now the last 5 games. 1-2 the count with a runner at first. Al, even with all the great hitters that you saw in your era, and over a long extended period of time, did you see guys switch stances, even the great ones, all that much? Because Pujols, it just seems like he's been the same since day one.
No, I mean, most great hitters stick with one. But it might have taken a little time to find that one spot. But you know, he had it when he came to the big leagues, and it's never stayed or never changed. Probably the best all-around player or best hitter that, you know, tinkered with his stance so much was Cal Ripken Jr.
No doubt.
I mean,
every other game he was doing it.
You know, he had a different stance for every pitcher and everything else, and usually, you know, that's atypical, especially for a Hall of Famer. But of course, Albert's been the model of consistency.
The amazing thing is watching Albert's head on a swing. It just doesn't move.
And that's the key to hitting. When that head moves, you know, everything falls apart. But if you can keep holding still, you can see the ball so much easier. Slider called here.
2-2 pitch. Pujols into center. And Drew Stubbs is there to make the catch. Let's go Exmo Cam on the swing of Albert Pujols. Presented by Plaza Tire Service.
See how it just stays right there, doesn't move. You know, body moves. You know, Hannigan's out there to talk to Bailey because he got away with the pitch. Albert flipped his bat in disgust. He knew he missed a hanging pitch. It does happen. Doesn't happen often with him.
And now Holiday, who's 0 for 2, 4 home runs, 10 RBIs after the first month of play. And hitting .278 overall. He's fly to center and also popped out to second base. Now, we've seen a lot of pitchers challenge Matt Holliday with that fastball. They go right at him.
Yes, they do. You know, and most of the time, what their intent is to go up and in. Matt Holliday's got a batting championship. You know, he's a great hitter, and more times than not, you know, they're going to make a mistake trying to expose his weakness. But now they'll go a slider away.
0-2. Homer Bailey has struck out 3 today. He's allowed 5 base hits and the home run to David Freese, which was back in the 4th.
0-2. See how they attack Matt now. Fastball, he fouled it off. The slider, he swung and missed. Fastball in. You see the command guys have. You go up the ladder. Hennigan kind of gave that little wiggle on his hands to go up, and then he got it high in in his stance, meaning he wanted to go up above the strike zone, and he threw the ball down and away. He'll throw to first.
Cardinals as a team came into play at 255, their average, right in the middle of the National League, and now time is called.
He doesn't want to throw over, or he says, what is that? What do you mean? I don't have that pitch. No, kid, that means throw him first. Keep the runner in check.
The Cardinals pitching staff, 2.65 collective ERA.
Number 1 in the major leagues. Keep the ball in the ballpark. Don't walk many. You know, you're well on your way. And this pitching staff has done a phenomenal job, led by its starters. That bullpen's been very good also. Let's see if we can pitch him in. Try and go up a little bit.
Runner goes, and a swing and a miss. So strikeout of Holliday. That's 4 today for Homer Bailey. Sends us to the 6th. Live tomorrow on the Cardinals TV network with Rick Horton and Jay Randolph. The Cardinals and the Reds. What's on tap? Presented by Budweiser, the Great American Lager, and that'll be Carpenter against Aaron Harang. Harang 1-3, and Carpenter, who has already beaten Cincinnati, is 3-0.
Rematch of opening day, right?
That's right.
So Albert has a big day again.
And Yachty had a grand slam on opening day.
Massett.
And LaRue and Lohse, those two seem to be really in sync here in this ball game. Brandon Phillips, second place hitter. What a factor that can be if you get on the same page with your catcher. And that's not to say that he's not been on the same page with Molina. Just these two have been in sync today.
Right. And It's the most reassuring thing in the world for a pitcher. And when he steps up on the rubber and he's thinking about one pitch, and then that catcher puts down that same sign or signal, and it just totally reinforces it, and you just say, let's go. But Jason LaRue is right there with Molina in those meetings with Duncan and Marty Mason going over hitters.
Ground ball hit to short. One away. Phillips is 1 for 3. Seen a very sharp breaking ball from Kyle Lohse today, sharper than it has been in his previous starts.
And that would be an indication where he's getting on top of those pitches, arm not dragging, you know, having the ability to get the ball down in the zone.
So 1 out, and here's Votto. Nobody on for Joey Votto. First pitch, ground ball, backhanded by Pujols. To Lohse covering first, 2 outs. After the game, Cardinals Live broadcasting from the Aqua Bar at Lumiere Place Casino. Watch player interviews and Tony La Russa, plus Pat and Rick break down the game. It's Cardinals Live after the game, right here on Fox Sports Midwest. Those guys do a great job on the post-game show. They'll be at the Aqua Bar today. And here's Rolen with 2 outs and nobody on. He's 1 for 2.
And sometimes during the course of a game, you know, of course, with starters, you got to think he's got to retire hitters 3 or 4 times, so they'll, you know, alter their patterns against each guy, trying to show them something new. A lot of times, the first time through the order, you're really trying to establish your fastball, and you know, later on, then you'll use your, you know, you'll come up with, say, more of your off-speed pitches. But it used to be, you know, especially in this situation, you know, you got 2 outs, nobody on base. Why do you have to have, you know, show them your out pitch? Just know what you can get a ground ball to the right side. If it goes through, so what? It's a single. There's 2 outs. But have that one special pitch, that trick pitch. Save that in your bag of tricks, that if you come up, guy comes up next time up with 2 or 3 men on base, and it's going to be the difference of the game. Now you've got a weapon that you've never shown before.
A 2-1 pitch. Rolen pops it up. LaRue will give it a look. Behind home plate, can he make the play? Yes, he does. The 36-year-old Jason LaRue makes the catch. The backup catcher and former Red now for the Cardinals. Is brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. By Lumiere Casino. Your next home could be on the house. River City Casino and Lumiere Place Casino and Hotels is giving away a $250,000 home plus 18 room makeovers now through July 2nd. Visit rivercity.com for details. And by AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T. Rethink possible. And here's Colby Rasmus to lead it off.
Colby leads the National League in on-base percentage, second in slugging.
And a swing and a miss. Colby is among the lead leaders in walks this year. Number of categories. Home runs. He's got 6 this season. League leader. How about Kelly Johnson of Arizona? He's got 9.
Cardinals as a team are up among the league leaders with home runs, but Arizona is leading the pack, who Kelly Johnson plays for.
Cardinals had interest in Johnson a couple of years ago. There's a breaking ball lifted foul and out of play. They had a pretty good series against the Cardinals a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and I'd have to say that he's having his finest start to a season.
Two and two the count. Outfield is deep and straight away for Rasmus. Cardinals have out hit the Reds 5-4. The 2-2. Ooh, a high outside strike. And Rasmus is down on strikes for the second time today, and he's 0 for 3.
Strike zone been a little bit big today, but said earlier, I don't mind that. Hitters need to adjust to it.
We were talking earlier about Colby and having a comfort level now in his second season. And I think after the first couple of weeks, David Freese feels that way too.
Sure. And I mean, once he got that one bad inning out of his way, he made 2 errors in the same inning. He's got 3 on the year. And you kind of go, okay, well, I can. Been there, done that. You know, forget about it and just go out and play. And he's played very well defensively since then.
Shoots one foul. In his career now, he's 7 for 17 against the Reds. He picked up his first ever major league home run against Cincinnati last year. And he's got a home run here today.
Look at 15 RBIs for David Freese.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Some have said maybe look at Freese in that 2 spot in the lineup as well as he goes to right field. It's a valid point.
Yeah, valid point, but
Hear this. Deep right center again. And this ball is off the wall. Hustling into second base, diving head first, and it's a double for David Freese. The ball just jumps off his bat to right field.
Right field, you're right. But, I mean, you know, right now you've got Ludwig, who's very comfortable in the 2-hole. I just soon leave Ludwig there because he's comfortable there. Let David Freese batting 6. Didn't get it quite far enough away, and David gives it a ride, but it's that same approach of taking the ball up the middle or opposite field, and you stay right on those pitches that are outside. David's shown that ability that he looks like he's going to, you know, that he's enjoys RBI opportunities. Gets a bunch of them, doesn't he?
Sure does. Seemed like the first week, every time he came up, he had an RBI opportunity. But off to a really good start.
Yeah, and he came through in enough occasions to where, you know, you relax, you don't panic, you look forward to those opportunities.
Late swing by LaRue.
This is the real key at bat. You already got one out. You're getting towards the end of the order. You got the pitcher in the 8th spot behind you, so at the very least you want a productive out. And hopefully LaRue, and he's shown at times that he could be a threat offensively.
2-1. LaRue is grounded out to his shortstop and also flied out to right.
Good gap on the right side. You know, if you hit it through the vacated second base area, line drive out to left center would be nice. One off the wall. Take that.
The 2-1 pitch stays away. You got to figure you're going to get a pitch to hit here on 3-1. The pitcher on deck.
Yeah, I don't think this is the time to pitch around the guy. And Dusty kind of out there, kind of figuring what's going to go on here. You know, he's 3-1 pitch. You pitch it into a count to where a guy can, you know, become a much more dangerous hitter. And if they walk you, they walk you. You're going to pretty much get, looks like a fastball.
The 3-1.
Breaking ball.
With a strike.
Oh, wow. How about that strike call?
I thought the one on Colby was questionable too.
I thought it was too, but I thought this was even worse.
Not where he catches it, where it crosses the plate. Now you're with you, Al.
Looks like a fastball away now. Shook off the curveball.
3-2 pitch. And he got it. No argument from LaRue. It's 6 strikeouts for Homer Bailey.
This one looked like a strike, but on Fox Tracks says it was not.
Looked pretty good.
I had no problem to the naked eye.
Yeah. Well, here's one of your hot hitters in this lineup in Kyle Lohse.
Well, this is where, you know, if you're Homer Bailey pitched a good game, he's on the losing end 1-0. But if you're going to want to win a game, you've got to get this pitcher out in this situation.
That pitch is taken a little bit low. We're in the bottom of the 6th. The Cardinals have out hit the Reds 6-4, and they lead 1-0. So Lohse 2 for 2 with a couple of singles up the middle. He does have one career 3-hit day. Lohse hits it sharply to first, well off the line. Osvaldo, he'll step on the bag. And left stranded is David Freese. We played 6, and it's 1-0. And many fans agree with us. The biggest surprise of April, Jaime Garcia at 70%. Colby came in second. And then David Freese, and then the bullpen. I don't know. Watching Colby in spring, I just thought he would get off to a good start. He's going to have a solid year.
Yes. It seemed like we tried to emphasize that. It felt like David Freese would just settle in here and be fine. You don't put too much pressure on him. Don't demand a lot from him, and he will respond. In his second and third year, you can kind of increase his responsibility.
And we're underway here in the 7th inning. And this is Jay Bruce. Bruce has struck out and also popped out to the catcher. Good to see Lohse pitching into the 7th inning. He's been very efficient in doing so here today, too. He struck out 6 on the afternoon.
75 pitches. So.
And Bruce hits it down the right field line. That's a fair ball. Bruce with extra bases. He's thinking 3 now. Thrown by Schumacher, won't be in time. It's a leadoff triple for Jay Bruce. Looks like it may have been stuck under the padding in the wall out and right. But regardless, Jay Bruce had extra bases.
Well, you look at it, it's a breaking ball, kind of a little hump in it, hits it down in the right field corner. Then with all the rain, and that area was really wet last night, that ball just kind of stuck right there. And so instead of bouncing out for Ludwig, he had to go all the way and get it. So he got to it quickly, but it was just well placed, and Jay Bruce, that leadoff triple now. Lohse is going to really have to pitch.
That's his second triple of the year. Here's Orlando Cabrera.
Enter Cabrera. He's got 13 RBIs, so they moved him into an RBI slot. He hasn't hit one yet, but he's got a golden opportunity right now.
There's 13 RBIs, tops on the team. Votto with 12. Johnny Gomes has 12 too.
Is that Fisher?
Yep, Carlos Fisher, the right-hander, out of the bullpen. Check swing, and he went. A couple of the bullpenners for the Cardinals starting to stretch out there, but nobody throwing yet. Cabrera singled on a hanging breaking ball, you might remember, in the 4th, and was called out on strikes in the 2nd. Here's a 1-1 pitch in the dirt. So the Cardinals in the first series and again last night, a lot of curveballs to Orlando Cabrera.
But as you mentioned, you hang one, anybody's going to hit that. But Clellan out there stretching. But right now, and Lohse missed badly on a fastball, a nice scoop by LaRue as he thought that ball wanted it higher in the strike zone.
In the air. This will test Colby Rasmus. Bruce tagging up. Throw to the plate, well offline. And this game is tied up. It's 1-1.
Colby really, the guy that has all the tools he has, one we have not ever seen him make a good throw. And instead of having his momentum coming in, he could have backed up, circled on that ball, and really came in. And then instead of throwing it right in the dirt, he gets it to home plate, but it's only off by about 20 feet. He's thrown to the on-deck circle.
So Cabrera ties it up. We're tied up 1-1. Here's Lance Nix.
I mean, to pick on, Colby, but you remember the throw he made earlier this week where from center field, he hit in front of, to the outfield side of the second base bag on a throw to the plate.
1 ball, 1 strike. I remember.
There's something in between an Ankiel throw and a Colby Rasmus throw.
He'll find it.
He will. I mean, he definitely will. But it's just one of those little things. You've got to work on all aspects of your game.
This is well hit down the right field line, and it is A foul ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Lance Nix. Seen a couple of pitches up here in this inning from Lohse, as his pitch count is at 83. And a happy fan right there.
So much of this game is between your ears. A lot of times what happens to a pitcher like Lohse right now is you pitch your best game of the year. You're still looking for your first win. We haven't got a lot of offensive support. And you start, you get into here. Now they tie it up because of leadoff triple and then a sac fly. And all of a sudden you say, why me? And you just got to really bow your neck and say, hey, I'll get you back on offense. And, pick me up.
7th strikeout for Cal Lohse. And that's a look at his pitch count by inning. 3 times he's had 15 pitches in the first, the third, the fourth. And here in the 7th, he has 12. Cardinals will have the 9th place hitter, Brendan Ryan, due up first, and then Schumacher, Ludwig, if anybody can reach Pujols. The bottom of this inning. Here's Ryan Hannigan. He's 0 for 2. Popped out to first and also grounded back to Lohse. 8th place hitter. 1-1 game here in the 7th. Diamondbacks leading the Cubs. That's in the top of the 6th, 5-3.
Talk about how the Cardinal pitchers have been doing so well. They lead the major leagues in ERA. How about the starters? Lohse isn't finished with his assignment, but we'll kind of say that he will finish with a quality start, and that would be 8 straight quality starts.
Quality start. One of your favorite stats when talking about a pitcher.
Well, I mean,
smiling over there.
It's 6 innings, at least 6 innings with no more than 3 runs. Now the problem is you can give up 2 or 3 runs and you're still a loser. But you pitch effectively was developed by an agent for arbitration stats. Hey, my pitcher really pitched great. He just didn't get any run support. He led in quality starts. Yeah, but his record was, he lost 15 games. He only won 6. Yeah, but he pitched well.
15 of 19 first pitch strikes, and since then 1 of 7. And he has back-to-back strikeouts to end the top of the 7th, 8 on the afternoon. Time to stretch in a 1-1 game. On the 7th, Judy qualifies for the Hyundai Sonata drawing in September. To register, visit Munganast North County Hyundai or St. Louis area Hyundai dealers. 11 hits in this ball game, 5 for Cincinnati, 6 for the Cardinals. It's 1-1 as Homer Bailey will pitch into the bottom of the 7th, and the first hitter he'll face is Brendan Ryan. Ryan 1 for 2, a single back in the 2nd, and called out on strikes in the 4th. Bailey has struck out 6, and Kyle Lohse, he struck out 8. And you wonder if his afternoon is through as Blake Hawksworth is getting loose.
Probably is through, but let's try and get him his first win, as he pitched well. If his day is through, 7 innings, 5 hits, allowed the 1 run earned, no walks, and 8 strikeouts. So pitched by far his best game. Hawksworth continues to throw, so that makes us believe that 7 innings is enough for Lohse.
Saw Hawksworth last time against Atlanta. He went an inning and 2/3, gave up a hit and no runs. The 27-year-old getting loose out there in the Cardinals pen. 2 balls, no strikes. I'm Brendan Ryan.
Get the leadoff man on somehow, somewhere.
Schumacher on deck, and then we'll see Ludwig way outside. And if you're Dusty Baker, now you see this kind of start to the 7th inning, makes you think about getting your bullpen up.
Well, he had Fisher up in case Bailey's spot came up. They were 1 short, so he was going to be pinch hit for. Ball close, but looked a little bit inside, didn't it?
Sure did. And you wonder if he'd take another pitch right here.
You really, be selective. Just look for something that you can really crush.
And Brendan hits it to third. Scott Rowland reaches out for it, makes the play. So Ryan 1 for 3, and here comes Skip Schumacher.
Skip had success against Bailey coming into the game, but just like this year, really struggling trying to face right-handed pitching. He finds himself 0 for 2 in a walk.
He's grounded to second, grounded to first, and also walked. Ludwig on deck. Fastball strike. That pitch on our gun at 95, so Bailey's still getting it up there.
It's a day game, but pitchers kind of catch a break as it's probably temperature in the high 60s. So stay a little more comfortable and cool. 107 pitches, so they're pushing the youngster. Not quite 24. Dusty's never been afraid to do that.
No, he's been criticized for it too. Mark Pryor and of course Kerry Wood.
Of course, I talked to Dusty about that before, and he said, hey, Wood was hurt before I got there. And Dusty, played in the 70s and on, and just like, wait a minute, there was never a pitch count.
3-1. Either way, you get the feeling that this would be the last inning of work for Homer Bailey. He's due up first in the 8th.
Yeah, due up first, and they'll have a very quick hook on him.
3-1 pitch, and it's a 1-out walk to Schumacher. So the go-ahead runners on for the Cardinals. 3rd walk issued by Bailey. One of those was intentional. The Pujols all the way back in the 1st. Schumacher on for the 2nd time, and for the 2nd time as well, Fisher up and starting to throw. Cardinal fans, Ice Mountain Autograph Nights are back for 2010. Join us on select nights throughout the summer to meet your favorite Cardinals players and alumni. And the dates of those autograph nights are found at cardinals.com/promotions. What you do here, Al, you put the potential of Albert coming up with a runner on.
That's right, and Ludwig doubles first time up, then he's hit the ball hard a couple times lining out. Coach Dusty could always do a double switch.
And that's out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now Fisher, who's getting loose, began the year at Class AAA Louisville. Had 6 relief appearances, didn't allow a run. And so now he finds himself back in the major leagues. Remember a couple of years ago, late in the season, he was called up by the Reds, and they left him out there to take a beating.
I do kind of remember that.
One ball, 1 strike.
He was called up to replace our opening or second game sensation, second or third game, that Andrusic.
Logan Andrusic, the big kid. 1-1 pitch. 1-2. I'm with you, Al. I think we've seen Bailey on the off-speed pitches and his curveball really slow up his delivery, but yet he's been able to get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's quite noticeable from here, but I guess if you're in the batter's box, you're not picking it up.
Different story. So runner at first, that's Schumacher, a ball and 2 strikes. Ludwig shoots one into right center field. And that'll get down. Bruce makes the catch on the run. And it brings up Albert Pujols. You're Dusty Baker, you're thinking, boy, this is the last guy I want to see come up and have a chance to do some damage with a runner on.
And yet, Albert really hasn't found the formula to Bailey yet. He's 3 for 10, but does have a home run against Bailey, but he's 0 for 2 with that intentional pass back in the first inning.
But here you have Bailey, who's well over 100 pitches. It doesn't look like he's running on fumes against the outstanding player and one of the great hitters in the game in Albert Pujols.
His 115th pitch. Now Herrera has gotten up to join Fisher in the bullpen.
Herrera, the lefty, the screwballer. Got Holiday on deck, and then Rasmus would be due up, so maybe he's getting loose for him. The 0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Boy, Bailey, you could see his reaction. He wanted that call. Instead of being 0-2, now you're 1-1.
Looked like it was pretty close. That goes to the 3-time MVP. Fastball in. Better get it in. He didn't get it in, but he challenged him. It's right down the middle of the plate. And for this 1 pitch, he beats the best. See a little movement on that ball, too.
Well, you just don't see that very often with Pujols. Rarely do you see a pitch over the middle of the plate, much less one that he misses. A ball and 2 strikes.
Bailey wants to challenge McGinn with the fastball.
There goes Skip, and it's fouled back. And I think we'll see our catcher Hannigan remind Homer Bailey there is a runner at first. As Skip had a great jump.
Probably not paying attention to him, and he's putting all concentration on the plate with Albert.
I don't think I blame him, Al.
No.
Get a look at the signals there. 1-1 game as we play here in the bottom of the 7th.
Hannigan wants the slider, and now Bailey's agreed to it.
1-2 pitch. Taken just a bit high.
And it's one of those hanging pitches that's just too high. That, if you swing at it, you usually pop it up. Or sometimes pitches are bad enough to be good.
See
go back to the slider, or will Bailey get his fastball again. Back to the slider.
2-2. Skip is running. And the ball scoots away. Schumacher winds up at second base.
And he slid in there, so he momentarily loses sight of the ball.
That'll be his first steal. And if you're Dusty Baker on a 3-2 pitch, do you just walk Albert Pujols and say, let's deal with Holiday?
Or you tell your catcher to go out there and say, make sure it's not a strike. And you see the ball, he cops up because he's trying to throw out the runner, and ball gets away from him. Dusty looks like he's going to pitch to him. Will he regret it? Or they throw the slider away is what I'm thinking they're going to do. Here's the fastball.
3-2 pitch. Pujols hits it down the left field line. He makes him pay. Into the corner it goes. Schumacher will score. With first base open and a 3-2 count, they pitch to Albert Pujols and they get burned.
Not only, to me, Dan, on the 3-2 pitch, he went to the well one more time trying to go to that fastball. You throw a slider out there, he may chase it. But the fastball, we couldn't believe he missed it before. This time he doesn't miss it. And that's why he is great. Because he'll come through in the clutch. Ball just a touch inside. And look, you see there now. Wainwright trying to tell Kyle Lohse, hey, baby, you pitched a great game. We're going to reward you. Now he is the pitcher of record. And, I think you're kicking yourself. You say, how can Dusty, you've seen this guy do it too many times. Why would you waste a young pitcher thinking that, okay, I can sneak another fastball by him? And I was just shocked that Hannigan called that fastball, and that was Bailey's last pitch.
Al, I'm sorry, but why do you even pitch to him? I
don't mind that, but
you're telling me, I'm listening. You say, well, just throw the slider, make sure it's outside.
Yeah, making sure it's outside.
I don't even deal with that. I just put him on. We've seen it too many times.
Tell you what, as we see our Chevy call the bullpen, Dusty will be explaining that one all night.
Oh, man. It's our Chevy call to the bullpen. Pujols has given the Cardinals a 2-1 lead.
.121 pitches, youngster out there. First base open, 3-2 pitch. Albert, best hitter in baseball, and Mr. Clutch. Also, he pulled the catcher. I mean, it was the right thing to do because he was last out. But I'm sure they were asking him, why did you pitch? Why did you call the fastball?
There's a 1-0 pitch from Fisher. Holliday takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Matt Holliday today has flied to center. He's popped out to second and also struck out swinging in the 5th. And that will improve. You know that. 125 with runners in scoring position this year. Here's a 1-1 pitch with 2 outs and Pujols, a runner at second base. Homer Bailey is visiting over there with the coaches. Price. Yeah, Brian Price is the new pitching coach with the Reds. Two-one pitch. Holliday. Backhanded by Rowland. From his knees. Oh, and the ball gets away. And Pujols will score. Votto couldn't come up with it. And it's 3-1 Cardinals.
See if they give a base hit and an error, or they could give a straight error. Exceptional effort right there. He took a little tricky hop, but Scott Rowland from his knees throws out there. He's getting plenty of time to get him, but the low throw.
It's a base hit RBI is what they're saying.
How can you give an RBI?
I totally agree, Al.
Well, whatever I said about the official score, and I don't know if it's Mike Smith today or not, but I don't understand that one at all. I could give the base hit. It's Gary Mueller.
Isn't it a base hit error? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Base hit and error, and he scores on the air.
So here's Colby Rasmus with 2 outs and a runner at first.
You had him leaning the other way, but got back. Some people believe that if you're going to throw to first, give it your best shot, or at least throw the ball hard over there. If he would have thrown it hard, he would have had him picked off, because his first move was to second base.
See Votto not happy with himself over at first base with a throw that if he keeps it in front, Pujols is still at third.
Well, and he's a pretty good little first baseman over there, so it's not a play that he doesn't make on a routine basis. Talk about slowing up your arm angle on an off-speed pitch. Fisher guilty of that.
He came into play today having pitched in just 1 game, an inning, gave up a couple of hits, but no runs. Very short lead at first by Holliday. 2 balls and no strikes here in Colby, who struck out twice today.
Fisher went to Lewis and Clark at that same school that Kobe, not Kobe, but Brendan Ryan, right?
I believe so. The 2-1 pitch. So now they've changed the ruling as we get word it's a base hit and E5 on the throw.
And that's the proper scoring.
2-2 pitch. And a check on Holliday.
I don't mind giving a base hit on there. It took an exceptional effort, but because of the low throw and it got by the first baseman, Albert was staying at third base and he came home on that. So
swing and a miss by Colby Rasmus, and he strikes out for the 3rd time. Pujols the go-ahead RBI and scores an insurance run to make it 3-1. By the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals, it may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Sun is now shining here in St. Louis, Busch Stadium, so Matt Holliday went to go get some shades.
Always smart.
Kyle Lohse shall undoubtedly his best outing and a chance to pick up a win if the bullpen can make it hold.
No doubt about it. 7 innings for Kyle Lohse, 5 hits allowed to 1 run. No walks, that's a real key, and 8 strikeouts. He came in with more walks than strikeouts, and Kyle Lohse does a good job. Let's hope Blake Coxworth continues his fine pitching. He has not allowed an earned run in his 7 games. He finally did allow an unearned run. I went back on, it was his first 2 unearned runs since August 28th of last season.
And he gets Ramon Hernandez. First pitch, a strike. That was part of the double switch. So Hernandez, 9th man in the lineup for Dusty Baker, and then we'll see Stubbs and Phillips. You still will have to see the heart of the lineup of the Reds before this afternoon is through. Hernandez to right, slicing, trouble, and a foul ball.
Ooh.
Just foul.
What did that look like to your naked eye?
Fair ball.
I agree. Gary Darling missed a balk call to crew chief, and let's see if he misses this one. I'm sure he didn't, but it looks
sure?
right on it. I thought it was right on the line, but look at Billy Hatcher is down there talking, the first base coach.
I thought it was a fair ball.
I did too. And Albert told Hatcher, he goes, "You're wrong." He goes, "Yes, sir."
0-2 the count. Great crowd today, 41,536, 41536. And here comes the 0-2 pitch to Hernandez.
Danny Hawksworth hasn't allowed an earned run in his last 20 innings. It goes back to last year, and he did not allow a run versus the National League Central Club. It's 13 games, 17 innings last year.
1-2. Cubs have come back to tie it up in the 8th. It's 5-5. One-two pitch.
Another reason why would you pitch to Albert Pujols? Of course, once he gets on base against Cincinnati or Pittsburgh, he's going to score, isn't he?
It's amazing. 133 runs against the Cincinnati Reds alone since 2001 that he has scored. Against Pittsburgh, 121. I bet about 100 of those are at PNC Park with what he does there.
Well, we'll get a chance on our next road trip to see some of those numbers because they are quite gaudy. He's hit more home runs than any visiting player at PNC Park.
2-2. But you're exactly right on that pitch, Al. I mean, if you have decided to pitch to Pujols, but the fastball where he got it, foul back.
Well, remember we showed that one fastball that he threw right by him, and that's what Homer Bailey scored. You know, hey, I could do it again, but we were commenting we don't see Albert miss that very often. He didn't miss it once, but he's going to miss it the second time. But that's part of managing. You know, can you trust a young pitcher out there that's going on fumes, or you take over and make those decisions for your players?
The latter.
Well, that's what you would have done, and I would have said, okay, I trust him, but I wouldn't have thrown the breaking ball off the plate and hoped that he chased. And if he didn't, you know, we got the first and second situation.
I just take it out of their hands and say, let's deal with Holliday.
You know, if you throw a fastball, throw it up and out of the strike zone too. Reyes is in the Cardinal bullpen. No activity for the Reds.
And I figure he's getting set for Votto, who is due up fourth in this inning. If anybody can reach. 3-2 to Hernandez. And he walked him. Winds up being a very good at bat by Ramon Hernandez. Tying run will come to the plate. Brings in Stubbs.
My first impressions when we were in Cincinnati, kind of looking at Stubbs a little bit, and was very intrigued with him.
Great speed.
Great speed. You know, just a lot of little things about him you kind of liked, but now you look at that 178 average, and he's hit a lot of fly balls in this series already. At least 4 fly balls to center field.
Fastball and a strike at 92. Stubbs is from Atlanta, so another one of those Atlanta products. It was a selection of the Reds in the first round, 8th overall in 2006. Well, it is amazing, though, to see all these players that are coming from the Atlanta area. And except this one, see if you're paying attention, Atlanta, Texas.
Well, not Atlanta area, but
not Georgia. He lives in Austin. A high draft choice in 2006. And this is about the time you start to think that maybe this is when that high draft choice would pay dividends in the major leagues. One and two the count. And he got him a strikeout. The Reds have struck out 9 times today.
On the swing or the called?
Called strike, I think.
Was it a strike? Didn't look like it.
Didn't think so either.
This also has a little bearing.
Here's Phillips, who singled back in the third.
Tell you what, Paul Elmo's been consistent. He's had a big strike zone. So by this time of game, you got to cover more of the plate.
And Phillips doesn't like that call on the inside portion of the plate. Let's see if Hawksworth can't get a double play ball. The 0-1 pitch on its way. Hard hit and past Schumacher into center field. Hernandez will stop at second. Now it gets dangerous with Votto coming up, and you wonder if that's going to be it for Hawksworth.
Well, you had Reyes warming up, so you'd have to think so. And this ball hit hard, gets by Schumacher. Good thing it's the catcher running, as he can't go from first to third. And Tony will make the call to the bullpen and bring in one of the left-handed specialists, Denny's Reyes.
Hawksworth, leadoff walk, and then the strikeout of Stubbs and a base hit by Phillips. Our Chevy call to the bullpen. Denny's Reyes coming in. of time. Here we go. And by Bank of America. Cardinals banking only at Bank of America. So 2 runners on, and Denny's Reyes will take over. Reyes going over the signs with LaRue. And in steps Joey Votto. Votto today with a single. He's grounded out to second, also grounded out to first. 1 for 3. Have to be very careful with this hitter who hit well above 300 a year ago, and he's got power. 4 home runs this season. Numbers on Denny's Reyes. Well, he's been very good. Opponent's only hitting 100 against him.
And the best thing about Denny's Reyes is this year he's inherited 9 runners. All 9 have been stranded.
Here's a question for you, Al. You've got Roland coming up on deck, and then another lefty in Bruce. We saw Tony La Russa do this in the series against Atlanta. He went with a lefty, and then the righty to face right-handed batter, then back to a lefty, which really left his bullpen short, but yet was able to get the win.
Well, what he's going to do now is he'll bring in Franklin. He'll bring in Franklin for a 5-out save, and of course the real key is what happens with Votto here. Will it still be a save opportunity? So Franklin, who hasn't pitched since Monday, really does need the work, and you can extend him a little bit.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Foul back. And that's strike 2.
Votto against left-handed pitching last year hit 329, a little bit higher than he did against right-handers. But this year it's been a little different. And remember, he got off to a slow start last year too, and ended up leading the Reds with a 322 average.
1-2 pitch.
Breaking ball just kind of hung on the inside, but enough to jam him, and he could just foul it.
It was odd the other night. Denny's came in. He got the first 2. And then all of a sudden he couldn't find the plate. And he struggled a little bit with his control in his last outing, too.
I remember he gave up a home run to a left-handed batter, Hayward. And that was the first and only home run the Cardinal pitchers have allowed this year.
Base hit into center. A run will score. Rasmus bobbles it out in center field. And it's first and third with 1 out. And here come the Reds. So base hit RBI that's charged to Hawksworth. Votto picks up his 13th of the year.
Let's see where the pitch is. Well, sees a breaking ball, but it just doesn't get far enough in or out.
Some anxious moments in that dugout for now, Kyle Lohse.
Well, now you kind of wonder now, when your lead is in jeopardy, do you really want to warm up somebody in case they tie it up? They're allowing more time for Franklin to get ready, or Denny's Reyes apparently is going to pitch here with runners at the corners.
And here's Scott Rowland. First pitch up and away. Rowland on the afternoon with a single in the first, left stranded. Flied out to center and popped out to the catcher.
Step off, quick throw.
Middle infield still at a double play depth. Freese in a few steps at third. Pujols holding at first. And they shade Rowland to pull.
Scotty really's had trouble this year with runners on.
1-1.
Leads their ball club with 5 home runs, but he's done most of his damage with all 5 of them, I believe, are solo home runs, and he's struggled with runners on base, but we know he is extremely capable of breaking this game open.
One pitch. Check swing, didn't go. 2-1. The appeal to Gary Darling, the crew chief. Cardinals trying to get their 16th win of the year. They, along with San Diego, surprise out west, both with 15 wins. The 2-1. 2-2.
Breaking ball out there and gets him swinging over the top, a little slider.
It's Phillips over at third. Votto, who's made it a 3-2 game, over at first. Time called. 2-2. What does Reyes want to come with here? 2-2. And rolling a fly ball in shallow center. Another chance for Rasmus. Makes the catch. Here comes a throw to the plate, cut off by Pujols. And the game is tied.
In my mind, Kobe Rasmus never assumed that the runner was going to go. He's very shallow in center field. He thought that they wouldn't run on him. And he was almost staying flat-footed and just didn't come up with that automatic throw. And they tested him, and that's a speedy runner. Look, see, takes that crow hop. There's no need of that. And then another weak throw. Then the ball gets by. Watch this. He's not an anticipating throw. He looked to the runner. Come up there thinking he's going to run. They're going to challenge you. You haven't shown anybody that you can throw anybody out. It's also a speedy runner there at third base.
They appeal over at third, and Phillips scores, and that closes the book on Hawksworth. We're tied up 3-3. RBI for Roland, his 11th, and a runner. Votto lost in all this, advances to second base. He's in scoring position for Jay Bruce. I'll tell you what,
exactly,
the really
slide.
He really blocked the plate. Phillips never touched it. He still hasn't touched it there, and then he had to go back and pound it. Pounded the plate. 2-0. With what we've seen in this homestand, teams will run on Colby.
Well, he hasn't shown. I mean, you've got to anticipate that they're going to challenge you. And he looked to the runner. He was standing, he was assuming that they wouldn't run. You've got to come in there and assume every time that they're going to throw or they're going to run. So get in that proper throwing position, come up and throw a seed there, keep it on a low trajectory so no one can advance, but anticipate that they're going, that they're going to execute the play.
Walk to Bruce, on base for the second time. And Tony La Russa is going to have a double switch, it looks like here.
Frankie's the only one warming up, and he's coming in here, but hopefully get out of this 8th inning, keep it a tie, get the offense going again, and he can pick up a win pitching the 9th.
3-3, 2-1. With 2 outs here in the 8th. as he earned the save, number 7 Monday, and he's tied for 3rd in the National League in saves. Caps with 10, Cordero 9, Bell with 7. And a look at the numbers for Ryan Franklin. He'll come in with runners at 1st and 2nd. And it's part of a double switch, as Franklin will go in Rasmus's 5th spot in the lineup, as Colby struck out in the 7th to end that inning. So Franklin goes there. Joe Mather takes over in center, and he'll be in the pitcher spot, and he'll be due up 3rd in the bottom of this inning.
Well, and here, obviously, Franklin needs some work, as he hasn't pitched since Monday. A lot longer than you would like to have your closer resting, but now he's trying to keep this game tied.
And here's Cabrera. Has an RBI today. A swing and a miss. He's seen a steady diet of breaking balls. He struck out looking in the 2nd, singled in the 4th, and an RBI following the triple by Bruce in the 7th. Cardinals wasted great opportunities late last night and went into the 8th inning with a 3-1 lead today, and now we're tied up at 3-3. You look at it from the Reds' perspective of things.
Cabrera hurt his wrist swinging at that breaking ball.
And now you feel like, boy, the game that you're in, you get a good start from Homer Bailey, and Pujols get you again, but now they've come back to tie it after winning a long game last night. They're trying to prove that they can play with the Cardinals.
Well, they're around the top of the league and come from behind victories. So
that's right.
This is their normal MO.
0-2 pitch from Franklin.
Hard to believe Cabrera's been around as long as he has. You see, he hurt that wrist on that 2nd swing.
He goes back to the Montreal Expos days.
Right, but I mean, he's been around a long time, that you would think he'd figure out how to hit a curveball, or at least look like he's proficient.
Two and two.
You see him throw a fastball, but really LaRue set up way away from the plate, respecting that he can hit the fastball, but so you don't throw him a strike.
Lance Nix on deck. The 2-2 pitch from Franklin. Got him, a strikeout. The Reds will strand 2, and coming up for the Cardinals, David Freese, and it was back in the 4th when he went opposite field with a home run. He's also doubled today. It's 3-3 midway through 8. Stadium in St. Louis, sun shining now, blue skies, and our Home Depot doing more on defense. Lance Nix with this diving catch out in left field. The Home Depot doing more on defense. Fisher stays in the ball game, his 2nd inning of work, and he'll face David Freese. Jason LaRue and Joe Mather, who was part of the double switch. And David Freese, a good afternoon, 2 for 3. Solo home run, his second on the year. That was in the 4th. And it was also hit to the opposite field, just like his double the next time up in the 6th.
Well, get things started right here.
Bailey off the hook. Lohse can't win, and it's 3-3. The strike by Fisher at 82 miles an hour. Big gap into left field. And Freese hits it sharply to third, gobbled up by his counterpart, Scott Rolen. Makes the play, 1 away. You watch Scott Rolen out in pregame warm-ups, and he goes through drills, and he was doing it on opening day with the Reds. He was doing it years ago with the Cardinals. That wide stance that he takes, and he's so good at moving side to side, but how he fields a ground ball when one is hit straight at him. Not so much on the backhands, but the ones that are hit right at him. Textbook. Left center. Long way to go. And it drops. LaRue in with a double.
Things were in slow motion, really.
They had him shaded to the opposite field, but that ball hung up there forever.
Yeah, it seemed like it hung up there. It looked like it carried a little bit more than what you thought, but Stubbs with his great speed couldn't get over there. And then I think they thought that, I don't blame Stubbs, he doesn't want to run into Nix, but kind of a one-handed swing. You see the long run, but you see him look, the center fielder look towards his left fielder, and he wasn't anywhere near it. Now he slides to try and stop his progress, and now we're going to have a pinch runner.
So double for LaRue, first hit.
John Jay, Tyler Green, who's coming out to pinch run?
Nice round of applause as LaRue heads in the dugout. His afternoon is through.
Jaime Garcia will pinch run. You're playing with an extra pitcher, so you got a less. You're short one man on the bench, so you use one of your starting pitchers and you hold your breath and cross your fingers. And I see you shaking your head.
I'm holding my breath and crossing my fingers. I mean, he's base hit. You're talking about a play at the plate. Mather nearly tied it late last night.
Got a double. The second pinch hit of the season. He went in for defense, so he's not pitching any now, but he can still be a hero.
The other thing, too, is it takes a little bit for Garcia to get loose, stretch his legs.
That's all those little factors come into play that
he's so valuable on the mound. Incredibly important. The check swing, strike 2 on the breaking ball. 0-2 on Mather.
But you can understand Tony's thinking. You got Tyler Green, you got John Jay would be your two options, to pinch run. You could use Molina. Stabenow, you got to save the pinch hit.
0-2 pitch. I would doubt you're going to use Molina. That's just my thinking.
He stole his 15th base the other day.
Right. And I think I'll go with Garcia in this spot.
They're not going to use Carpenter. He's not going to use Wainwright. But he's a very valuable man out there. And so don't get hurt.
Not much of a secondary lead being taken by Garcia.
Well, that might have been a byproduct of last night late in the game. Somebody got picked off a second.
0-2, taken a little bit high. That was David Freese who was picked off.
I knew who it was. I just wasn't picking on him.
You didn't want to pick on the guy that got picked off.
That's right.
Okay.
I think he heard enough about it. Or you don't even have to hear. He's his own biggest critic. He knew when he made a mistake.
1-2 pitch. Up the middle. Cabrera makes the play to his left, spins and throws, and gets Joe Mather by a step.
Give Jaime some credit. We've seen some pitchers out there that would get confused and not get over to third base. So ball hit behind him. He barely hesitated and then goes over there. Watch Jaime here. Now he reads it, takes that little step, almost falls down, but regains his balance, and he's twinkle toes now.
There's Brendan Ryan. What a big base hit this could be if he could get one here. Just something positive offensively. Oh. You got to figure this will be it for Fisher. You've got Schumacher, who's on deck.
And they got Herrera warming up along with Mike Lincoln, but Daniel Ray Herrera, the little lefty screwball specialist.
2 balls, no strikes. Brendan had a base hit in the second, called out on strikes in the fourth, and a good play by Roland in the seventh to take a hit away.
Nobody going to throw. If ball hits out the outfield, Cardinals are going to take a lead.
A 2-0 pitch to Brendan. Shaking his head as he swung and missed.
Pitcher's got that kind of real easy slow motion, that the fastball kind of sneaky fast. Looks like it jumps up on you quickly.
Two 2-1 pitch. Brendan down the left field line, foul.
They saw that with their hearts.
You count me in that group.
Dan, you had a vacation yesterday. You know, I mean, how would you be tired trying to get this game over?
Well, I'm not tired at all.
You just took a leisurely little drive.
I'm just pulling for Brendan here. That's all I'm doing. 2-2. Your Fisher, what do you come with here, Al?
He's got that sneaky fastball. He's got that slider that they like to throw. You know, if you walk him, you're out of the game, and they're going to throw the slider.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Popped up.
Based on the way Brendan is swinging, that, you know, bending over at the waist, reaching for everything. I think the slider is the pitch to get him, but you know, so that kind of that catch-22. If you walk him, well, it's the last batter he's going to face either way. You know, there's 2 outs, 3-2 pitch here. But if he walks him, he's out of the game, and the fate of the victory is left up to somebody else. Fastball away.
3-2 pitch. And he walks. Good at bat. Extends it to Schumacher with runners at the corners.
Dusty will go to his bullpen and should bring in his lefty, who a screwball pitcher usually is more successful against right-handed batters. But last night, the little lefty had no problem with the left-handers, and the righties got him. So it will be Herrera. He'll come in here, and we'll let you know what the fate of this game will be. We're tied 3-3. last year. He's lost a game. He's got 5 holds, ERA just over 1. And, you know, we talk about a screwball guy. They usually have trouble with left-handers. Left-handers are 3 for 10 against him, and that pitch is more designed to go away for right-handed batters, so you have more success, and right-handed batters have hit Herrera 190. But yet it all works out for Schumacher, because this year, for whatever reason, Schumacher's batting .455 off a left-handed pitcher.
And that doesn't make sense, does it?
No, I mean, the last couple of years he's been under 200. He is 1 for 7 off of Herrera, and always was around the league leaders for right-handed pitching, but that's not the case this year.
Well, no activity in the Cardinals bullpen with Franklin already in the game to get the final strikeout in the top half of this inning. Runners at first and third. We're tied up. It's 3-3 here in the bottom of the 8th. 2 outs and a chance for Skip Schumacher. Strike 1.
Breaking ball that way. The left-hander will throw that breaking ball. It'll go away from the left-handed batter. The screwball is designed to come in, but a lot of times you throw that and it would hit a left-handed batter, so sometimes you take that key pitch away from him.
Now, I was talking to some of the players about Herrera after opening day in Cincinnati. They said how tough it was to sit there and wait and wait and wait, because he throws below what normally a major leaguer does.
Yeah, that's below the hitting speed. Now, this should be his screwball. You see it's 65 miles an hour.
Amazing.
So that's what you're talking about. You go up there, you're looking for something at least 20 miles an hour faster. Fastball in. Be ready for this one.
1-1 pitch. Schumacher pops it up, and that'll find the seats. Daniel Ray Herrera out of Odessa, Texas. Folks, this guy is 5'6", 165.
And usually you cheat. Add a few inches.
Right.
Add a few inches. I don't know if Sarah, he wants to add too many pounds, but 6'5" is legit.
And he came over in the deal for Josh Hamilton.
Go to first. Boy, the game's changed. You know, you see that little thumb you flick up like that. It used to be one of my favorite pitches. Knock the batter down. Now it's throw to first base.
Schumacher, if you're wondering, is 5'10", 195.
That's a slider again.
The 1-2 pitch with runners at the corners. Spoiled by Schumacher.
We've seen an 84-mile-an-hour fastball, a 65-mile-an-hour screwball, and a 74-mile-an-hour slider. Even his fastball is a bit below the normal hitting speed.
Jaime Garcia is your runner. At third base, came in as a pinch runner following the double by LaRue.
The curveball.
Base hit! Schumacher gets the Cardinals a lead. A 2-out base hit to left field just over the outstretched arm of Roland. 4-3 Cardinals here in the 8th.
Take away his best pitch. That screwball, and didn't want the screwball. Didn't want the fastball. Didn't want the slider. Says 2. I assume a curveball, but it didn't look like it did anything. It was more like another. The ball was up, and so he was able to hit it hard. He got by there, and the Cardinals have taken a lead, and they still have their closer in the game to get the victory.
Jaime Garcia, of all folks, scoring the go-ahead and potential winning run today. 4-3. 4-3 Cardinals as we step aside. Cardinal. Found a new home with Cincinnati.
In his last 8 appearances has a 1 ERA and hasn't allowed a run his last 4 appearances. Mike's had some injury problems over the years. Tommy John that took a long time to come back from. Then he had the cervical disc replacement last year in his neck.
First pitch to Ludwig is taken for a ball. So Giannis is your new shortstop. Look at the defense against Ryan Ludwig. 2 outs, 2 on. 4-3 Cardinals. There's that good breaking ball from Mike Lincoln.
Yeah, he still has that good breaking ball. We noticed that when he pitched for the Cardinals. You know, one thing I kind of noticed, there's a lot of appearances coming out of this Reds bullpen. And they got to get some of their starters to go a little deeper in games.
Now, here's a guy, Al, that you talk about perseverance. He missed 3 full seasons trying to come back from an injury. 3.
And because of what he did wearing the Cardinal uniform, and it really was about an early month. He just pitched night after night after night, went down for the elbow injury. But Walt Jockey didn't forget about that, and when he was coming back, he called Walt, and Walt said, "I'll give you a shot," and made that team.
You think about Josh Kenny and the struggles that he's been through to get back to the big leagues too.
And Josh helped the club win that 06 World Series, and so he'll get more and more shots. And look what's happening.
Bases loaded, Pujols. Listen to this crowd, 40,000 plus.
Is this the new matchup for Pujols? Like David Weathers? Is it going to be Mike Lincoln?
They're on their feet here at Busch Stadium. 2 outs, bases loaded. He's 5 for 6 against Lincoln.
Maybe I knew what I was talking about, huh?
And he also owns one of those 5 hits against Lincoln. It's a grand slam. You put the game out of reach. 1-0 pitch. And Lincoln can't find the plate right now. Two balls and no strikes.
Michael Owens is warming up for the Reds.
Catches the corner, 2-1. Pujols today intentionally walked in the first, struck out swinging in the third, flied out in the 5th, and an RBI at the time, a go-ahead RBI base hit in the 7th. The 2-1. 3-1.
A fastball right there, and couldn't find the strike zone. Nice and relaxed.
And he walks Pujols. 5-3 Cardinals.
21 RBIs for Albert now.
And the base is loaded for Holiday.
Brian Price out to talk to Lincoln along with his catcher.
Holiday with an RBI base hit back in the 7th. That made it 3-1. The Reds tied it up then in the 8th, 3-3 top half, and the Cardinals here in the bottom half have regained a lead 5-3. Brief history between these two. Holiday 1 for 2 against Lincoln.
And you kind of get the feeling that, you know, Holiday be the guy that you really want to see get the big blow and, you know, a base hit his last time up. But, you know, he's got 4 grand slams. You see his average with the bases loaded. That's more indicative of the kind of hitter he is. And just for whatever reason, he's gotten off to a slow start here at home. And we're going to see Micah Owings, the right-hander, come in from the bullpen.
Quite the talent is Micah Owings when you're a pitcher in the big leagues, and he also can hit at this level, which he can do both.
Yeah, he's used 16 times as a pinch hitter last year. 4 for 16, a home run. As a batter, he hit .259 with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs.
Won the Silver Slugger in 2007. That was when he was with Arizona. You see the bases are loaded. He was sent from the Diamondbacks to complete the trade of Adam Dunn to Arizona. Holiday 2 for 6 against this right-hander. Some more insurance still out there.
And late last season, Michael Owens was up with the bases loaded and got hit in the head by Kawakami. And after that, he never batted again. The rest of the season, he pitched.
2 outs, bases loaded. Holiday is swinging a miss. I remember Holiday using an all-black bat. Got the maple bat. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Changed his luck a little bit, didn't he?
Believe so.
Do something.
He's flied to center. He's popped out to second. He's struck out. Has an RBI single. A count of 1 ball, 1 strike. 2-1 on Holiday. It looked like the Reds were going to be able to come away unscathed in this inning. They had 2 outs and a runner at third base. That was Garcia. Then it was a walk, a single, and 2 walks, and now Holiday ahead in the count with the bases loaded. 2 balls and 1 strike. Much of this crowd still on their feet. Here it comes. 3-1.
We talked all about this big strike zone all day, and now pitchers can't hit it.
And now when you look at this inning, speaking about the walks, we talked about a base hit for Brendan Ryan, how big that would be. His walk was huge to extend this.
deep counts.
A 3-1. And Holiday draws a walk. It's 6-3. And Dusty is beside himself inside the dugout. That's 3 consecutive walks.
Oh, manager, pitching coach, nobody. Even your defense can't help you if you're walking people in.
And Franklin will hit for himself.
A 2-run lead. At your closer. You may just go up there and
Owings can't find the plate.
yeah, it's 6-3, right?
Correct.
Yeah, they got the scoreboard is down. They're putting up 6.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Trevor Franklin, a starter at one point in his career, so he has swung the bat a little bit.
Mostly in the American League.
One and 2. .118 average for the Cardinals closer in his career with 1 RBI. The starting pitchers take BP, but we don't see the relievers.
No.
1 and 2. And Franklin strikes out, and that sends us to the 9th. The Cardinals lead at 6-3.
At Busch Stadium coming up after the game on the post-game edition of Cardinals Live. Pat Paris and Rick Horton are at the Aqua Bar at Lumiere Place. Kyle Lohse returns to form. A big week for David Freese. A look back at that, plus player reaction and Tony La Russa Live. It's all coming up after the game. For now, it's back to the booth and Dan and Al, guys.
6-3, top of the 9th. 6-10-0 for the Cardinals. 3-7-1 for the Reds. And this will be Lance Nix to lead it off in the 9th. And you talked about it, Al. In the clutch, Reds Cardinals wins in the last at bat, and Cincinnati was 7 of those.
And look at the Cardinals. They have not won one yet.
Nix first pitch out to deep left. Holiday going back. 1 pitch, 1 out. As Holiday fired it back into the infield. So Nix retired. And Giannis will be the hitter. First plate appearance for Giannis. Part of a double switch for Dusty Baker's club.
This is his first appearance since on this road trip for the Reds.
Remember, this was a guy that they really felt was going to be their everyday shortstop, but has not hit at this level. They like him defensively, but just hasn't hit.
We'll have to see, though. You know, it was part of the double switch, but it made sense with Cabrera making the final out. But, you know, it looked like he hurt his wrist. See if he's able to play tomorrow.
Strike two.
And you're definitely right. Giannis appeared to be overmatched, but look at those numbers.
Yadier Molina is your new catcher. Seemed to handcuff Yadier a little bit. 1-2 the count. The Cubs come back and beat Arizona 7-5. 1-2. So the Cubs go to 12-13. And if the Cardinals would win, they would be 4.5 games out. And this would drop Cincinnati to 4 games out if the Cardinals hold on. One ball and 2 strikes on Paul Giannis. Breaks his bat. Carpenter going tomorrow against Harang. Then will be at Philadelphia on Monday night. 4-game set with the Phillies. Then 3 with Pittsburgh. Jaime Garcia will get the start game 1 Monday night. And we'll come your way at 5:30 here on Fox Sports Midwest.
She's out there competing. Is battling some tough pitches. There were 2 strikes. You got to protect the plate. And even asked if that last pitch was a strike from our home plate umpire, Paul Elmo.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Breaks his bat again. And the catch made by Brendan Ryan. Again, I'll go back to that Brendan Ryan at bat as being a real key to get to Skip Schumacher and our Budweiser player of the game. Schumacher with the go-ahead RBI for Herrera. The lefty-lefty matchup with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. And that gave the Cardinals a lead. They would tack on 2 more and they lead it 6-3. But remember, Brendan fouled off a bunch of pitches, took some real close pitches,
right,
and extended it to Schumacher.
No doubt.
Something to build on.
Dusty brought in his lefty, one of his lefties, to face Schumacher, and he beat him.
2 outs, nobody on. First pitch, a strike to Ramon Hernandez. 3 for 20 against Ryan Franklin. Strike 2.
Put him with a breaking ball, got him to swing and chase a fastball up. 0-2. This crowd's ready for this game to end.
The 0-2 pitch. He got him. Cardinals win it. The strikeout for Ryan Franklin. Win number 16 for the Redbirds.
15 victory.
Sure was.
Sorry that